You are now listening to the Sae Bae Cast, the #1 old school RuneScape podcast featuring guests from all across Galanor. To support this podcast, visit the Patreon link in the description.
All right, welcome to the Sae Bae Cast, number 83 with Rigondeaux for his second appearance. Rig, how are you doing this fine evening?
I'm doing amazing, baby. Thanks a lot for having me again, man. Life is extremely different since the last time we spoken.
Yeah, I've noticed, and it's really great to have you back streaming. You look very happy, and it looks like there's been a lot of changes, which I personally would love to hear about. Because I think as a streamer, now that I'm one myself, I understand this kind of struggles that can go along with that. There's struggles with any pursuit in life, but I feel like I can connect a little bit more, and I think we're going to have a great conversation today.
Hell yeah, man.
So I guess we'll start it off by just introducing yourself to those that may not know you as well. I'm assuming many that are listening do know who you are, but if you would like to just briefly explain a little bit about you, and we'll definitely get into more details as we go on.
Sure thing. I am Rigondeaux, but everyone calls me Rig. I have played old school RuneScape since day of release. I started off as a casual player. Actually, I've always been a casual player, what I'm talking about. But I started off as a player that didn't really want to go anywhere. I was just going for 50 all stats at the start in February 2013. And as I got to 50, I thought I'd go for 70 all stats, then 80 all stats. And when I got to 80 all stats, I thought, well, I may as well max it. And I maxed in 2014. I think I was the 31st player to max. And from what turned into went from a casual, I went to a hardstyle with a skilling, bro. Sorry, I'm just taking a sip of my coffee right here. I woke up like half an hour ago. I no-lifed from 2014 to 2015, became rank 6 in 2015, which was my peak. And then 2016 came, I became a streamer and I toned it down a bit. And ever since then, really, I've just been a player that, doesn't really push myself in the no-life in regards. I just go with the flow really these days. But yeah, I've played for 9 years, over 9 years now in total. Still playing to this very day.
Yeah, and there's been definitely just a wild ride watching your streams from 2016. And again, I've already had you on the cast, so a lot of this stuff may kind of be repeated. But I do just find it interesting, your whole journey with that. So how was your mindset going from, I guess there's two transitions. One is pre-streaming, your, I guess, relationship with the game. And then your relationship with the game up until, I would say, this year. With your main account transitioning into your 2005 locked Ironman, hardcore Ironman, and now as a normal Ironman that I'm pretty sure the entire game's just unlocked to you. So I guess if you want to go into your mindset with that and the things that have kind of shifted it.
Playing an Ironman?
Yeah, I mean, I guess just the three transitions of you being not you before streaming, you during streaming, and then you this year.
Man, it's been such a wild ride, but when I first started the game and when I became a higher rank, the only thing that appealed to me was chasing ranks. The only thing that I cared about was who was in front of me and who was behind me. If the players played more in front of me, I would play more. If the players behind me played more, I would play more. Sometimes it got to a stage, baby, back in the 2014, 2015 era, where I was playing about 18 hours a day. And I've never been an efficient player. Never. Don't think I ever will be. It's just not really my style. I like the more laid-back approach. And some days I'd be playing for like 18 hours a day, and it was super unhealthy. And when I was top 10, I swear to God, my diet was cereal and toast. And I had this kind of diet for the past year and a half or so. And it got to a point where I was rank 6. I nearly got to rank 5, but I didn't quite make it. And I started losing ranks. You can only go so high, right? And I thought to myself, as around a 25-year-old rig, well, you've gone, as far as you can. You may as well take it easy now. That was about 2015 when I started losing ranks. And I toned it down a bit. And I wasn't really playing for ranks anymore. I was just playing for 200 mils. I basically chased the 200 mils that I wanted. All of the easy ones, really. Cooking, thieving, fletching, crafting. All of the AFK, bankable ones. And I got 200 mil in 11 skills. Pardon me. I love my coffee, man. And it's so hard to structure. You know that, right? Because I'm trying to structure a 9-year journey into a sentence.
Oh yeah, I'm just asking very
so
broadly, and I'm like, go for it. Yeah, I'm not really asking very many specifics. Well, here, let's talk about the end of that era, of the end of your main, and the transition into the hardcore Ironman experience.
Well, it got to a point where I got a lot of the 200 mils that I wanted. And I never, ever wanted to get 200 mil. That was never the target for me. I just wanted to get the 200 mils that I knew I would enjoy. I never seen myself getting 200 mil mining, 200 mil fishing, because I don't know life like how I used to. So statistically, it would have took me like 20 years to get 200 mil. you know?
Yeah.
So never mind that. And I remember when I started streaming, my viewers would ask me, do you ever think about playing an Ironman rig? And I would tell them no. But in the back of my mind, I was always interested. I was always interested in playing an Ironman. And after I got the 200 mils that I wanted, I gave it a shot. And when did I start my Ironman? It was around 2020? I think it was 2020 when I started the Ironman. God, that was so long ago now. And I have never looked back. I will never play my main ever again. I literally mean that like it is engraved into my skin. I'll never play it. Ever since I started playing an Ironman, everything in the game, and I mean literally everything that I do, is amplified so much more rather than my main. My main, all I really cared about was XP and GP. GP has so much power on the main, doesn't it, baby?
Yeah.
So much power. On an Ironman, it's kind of powerless, And I love that. Every step that I've done on this Ironman, I've just enjoyed it so much more. Yeah.
Yeah, the drops definitely feel. I had popped into your stream right before you got Ranger boots.
Yeah.
And that just excitement, just seeing in your eyes, definitely a lot better than getting. I would argue that it's better than seeing your 200th whip. How many whips did you get on your main? I swear you had a massive collection of DKs and whips.
Man, for a start on my main, I killed about 250,000 abyssal demons. So
that is insane.
Yeah, so I think I had over 400 whips or something like that. Yeah, the DKs tab, I had about 700 million Dagonoth bones, 1.8 billion Archer's rings. Yeah, the tab was insane.
But nothing feels quite as, I don't know, like the dopamine rush hits different when it's just, I don't know, there's something about the Ironman life, like something that you can't sell or buy. It's just yours. You got it yourself.
You just can't simply go up to the G and buy something. For example, on my Ironman, when I wanted the dragon pickaxe, I had to go into the wilderness. I had to use my supplies, which were running worryingly low, like my ammunition and whatnot. Getting PK'd. Rot had a bounty on my head, by the way. I don't know if you know about that, baby. And I was getting PK'd like every 15 minutes, but I didn't give up. You know what I'm like. If I want something, I'm gonna get it, and I'm not gonna stop. But that was one of the roughest grinds I've ever had on this account. And but anyway, It took 2 days to get the dragon pickaxe on my Ironman. 2 days, and it's not a lot of time, really, is it, for RuneScape play, baby? But for me, it felt like an eternity because I don't like the wilderness. I don't like PKing. I've got constant anxiety while I'm in the wilderness. On top of that, luring Venonautis is a pain in the ass. I can't wait until they fix them bosses. So constantly luring, constantly fucking up the luring. Sorry about swearing, by the way.
Totally good. It's a Sae Bae cast.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. And finally, after 2 days, I got the drop, and it was such a massive relief. But on a main, I just go to the G and I buy it. You know, it's just such a difference. We have to take so much more longer journeys on an Ironman compared to a main. So much more longer journeys. Everything just takes so much longer. But I like that.
Yeah.
I like that so much.
And it's kind of nice, I would imagine. I mean, I can imagine just not having to deal with ranks just simply because you did start so late. I mean, even me, I mean, now it seems as though I was one of the early starters, but at the time I had started 3 years late into Ironman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of liberating in and of itself, sort of just knowing, okay, I'm not one of the tops. I don't have that feeling of like, oh, maybe I could compete. It's just play your account, enjoy it.
Yeah.
So.
You know, they say I have no regrets, but honestly, I do have a regret, and that's not starting Ironman the day it came out.
Yeah,
it's just the game mode for me.
I've actually heard that. In fact, next week we're going to be having Randalicious on, and I actually remember watching a Randalicious stream where he was talking about his regret in not starting hardcore Ironman on day of release, because I think there is something with that, playing a main for so long and just really being driven to, like, you know, going for 200 mils. You just start looking at other game modes and other avenues of the game. And you're like, that looks so fun. Like, why didn't I just start?
When did Ironman come out? It was 2014, right?
Yeah, October 2014 was the original.
Well, man, yeah, I had no hope of making an Iron back then, because I was still stuck into my main, you know, still chasing ranks and whatnot. So there was no hope for me. But honestly, I wish I did. But I was in a different mind frame back then. I was still not done with the account, not even far from done with my main.
Yeah, and I think age has a lot to do with that as well, because you were, what, 24?
Oh, man, yeah, I was in my early 20s back then.
Yeah, there is something about the early 20s, at least for me. Early 20s, I mean, everything revolved around RuneScape. Everything. I would go to work and, like, the entire day at work, I'm just thinking of going home and playing RuneScape.
Oh yeah,
I think it's
same with me.
I think it's just being young and just being so sucked into certain passions.
That's right.
It's strange.
I truly had such an unhealthy obsession. I think when I first started old school RuneScape, I think the first 3 or 4 years was the most unhealthy obsession I've ever had with a video game, just because of the ranks. Mm-hmm. I turned into a skeleton. I was, I don't know, man. I had no meat on me. I think at one point I was about 104 pounds when I was top 10.
Damn.
Because I was inefficient, baby. I obviously had to make up for the players that were efficient, and I had to play more.
Yep.
Yeah, just to keep my ranks up. It's a crazy time.
Yeah, definitely. And it's cool to see how far you've come. I mean, you look great. You look very happy. And but I guess before we get into this year, how was the hardcore Ironman 2005 restricted account, and when and how did that end up being done away with, I guess?
Right. So when I quit the main, I started the 2005 only hardcore Ironman. Why did I make it 2005? It's purely because I lived in the golden era, baby. I played RuneScape on the RuneScape 2 beta from 2003 to 2007. In my opinion, when RuneScape was in its prime. I'm talking about player base and how famous it was. You know, all of the school kids were playing RuneScape. Zezima was rank 1. You know, Nova Life was rank 2. The Old Knight, top 5. Lil Yuffie. This was the golden era, in my opinion. And pardon me, coffee.
All good.
And I have always had passion for the old times. And I had it in the back of my mind to make a year-locked Ironman for such a long time. And I'll tell you something. The first year or so, I had such a blast with it, man. Such a blast. I think the first 10 months was so fun because there was so much to do, even with the 2005 locked mode. But eventually, I ran out of things to do. It got to a point where the only thing that I needed to get really was the whip and the D-chain. And you know, when it comes to RuneScape players, bro, we're fueled by the future of what we've got planned, all of the things we need to get, all of the 99s, all of the different weapons and bosses and KC and collection logs. I had none of that in the 2005 locked account. None of that. And another thing what really kind of frustrated me too, that a lot of players would be coming into my stream, a lot of new people too, that'd be like, hey, nice to meet you, bro. When can you do this content? And all I'd say is I can't. I'm locked. And they'd be like, oh, okay. And then they'd just leave. That really hurt.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. But yeah, it got to a point where I just ran out of stuff to do. So I wasn't really motivated. On top of that, of course, I was really mentally ill at the time. I'd been for a long, long time, which we'll get to eventually. And I suicided. Suicide and quit it.
For those ones. Definitely in
yes.
game.
Yeah. Thankfully.
So you've mentioned on stream and just in general this idea of growing up in like the same sort of like neighborhood that was I don't know, your whole RuneScape journey, and then getting out of that was kind of liberating. And so I guess we can kind of go into it of just your experience during those kind of darker days. And now
the year 2000 and hold up, I'm trying to map out what years it was when I lived in that place. Me and my mother moved into that neighborhood 2001 or so, and I lived there until 2021. So yeah, it was 20 years I lived in that neighborhood. A long time, way too long. So basically, Sae Bae, for the people watching, this neighborhood we're talking about is the same neighborhood that in my old house that I used to live in prior to this apartment. But anyway, in the 90s, me and my mum lived in a particular neighborhood. My childhood was dark, Sae Bae. Did we speak about my childhood in the last podcast?
I don't think so. And if we did, it must have been very short.
Very brief.
Yeah.
Should we talk about my history and my childhood? And
feel free.
It's up to you, really.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, I'd like to share my experience. You know, it could get a bit dark. Just warning you.
I think that's fine. I think we're all adults listening. I don't think it would bother anybody. And if it does, you know, there's always just turn off the podcast. But I'm here for it.
Yeah. No. It's going to be fine. But anyway, in the 90s, me and my mother, we lived with my nan throughout the 90s. We grew up in my nan's household. And in the 90s, I'm going to be careful with what I say here because I don't want to mention any names or particular people. I want to keep it a little bit oblivious. But in this house that I grew up in, from around the age of 3 to 10, around 1993 to the year 2000, 2001, I was surrounded by people that abused alcohol and drugs. And for many, many years, I was mentally, physically, and verbally abused nearly every single day. Every single day, I would get hurt and messed up things would happen to me. And on top of that, I didn't really eat food all that much. No food was ever placed on the table for me as a kid. If I did get a meal, it was very, very rare. Myself, I had to spread butter on bread most days as a 5-year-old kid and have that as my dinner just because I didn't really have a parent figure for much of it. My mother was in a dark place and she was also getting physically abused, so she wasn't mentally available for me. So all I remember is just eating bread and butter and playing my Nintendo 64 and messed up things happening to me. And I remember asking myself as a child, even as a child, I'd be like, why is this happening to me? I've done nothing wrong whatsoever. I've just been playing my video games and and not harming anybody, and still bad things would happen to me. But I lived that life, that unfortunate life, from the age of 3, 4, all the way up until the year 2000. But anyway, in around the year 2000, that's when my mum decided to move out of my nan's house and move into the neighborhood that I grew up from the ages of 10 all the way into like 30. And I moved into this apartment. And we lived there for 20 years. And this neighborhood wasn't all that much better, to be honest. It was an affordable living estate full of scumbags, may I say, drug dealers and people that were on the road to nowhere. And in this neighborhood anyway, sorry, I'm struggling to, it's a little bit dark. Lots of things are coming back. But in this neighborhood anyway, bro, apologies. In the year 2003, my mum got me my first PC. And that's when I started my RuneScape journey. And RuneScape is what I used as a way to really numb the pain and the memories that I had. I'm sure probably you can relate in some way, shape, or form that we use RuneScape as an escape, don't we, sometimes?
Yeah.
If not, a lot of the times. So I grew up in this new neighborhood from the ages of 10 all the way to 30. And we lived in an apartment for the first 5 years of this new neighborhood, a little flat. And in 2005 or around 2006, we moved into another house, which was across the road. And that's the same house that I started streaming in Sae Bae, in that black room. When we moved into this house, I was about 16 years old. Yeah, it was around the year 2005, 2006. And I remember saying to my mum, I want my bedroom black. I want the walls black. Black was my color back then. I know it's not really a color, but you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And I remember gaming in the corner of my room from the ages of 16 all the way up until now. And I'll tell you something, bro. I loved the black walls. I remember loving them black walls as a kid, but eventually it started to eat away at me. What color are your walls, may I ask, in your house?
Beige. Very light beige, yeah.
I'm telling you something, bro. The colors of the walls, they really affect your mental health. Mm. Imagine if you woke up every day with black walls. What do you think that would do to you?
I'm one to shut off, or I'm one to put a blanket over the windows, but I definitely still enjoy the light. So yeah, I think that would not be great.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I gamed in that corner of my room, in that black room, all the way from the ages of 16 to 30, and I never liked it there. I never really liked it. I'm a person that kind of likes natural light, and from the ages of 16 to 30. I just kind of wasted away in that house. I was never happy. It was a very dark house. No matter where you were, there wasn't a lot of natural light. And I actually love natural light. On top of that, me and my mum didn't really get along all that well. We never had the most positive relationship between a mother and son. We had history together, didn't we, in the 90s? Bad stuff happened. And I don't think it's ever been fixed to this day. So there'd be constant arguments with my mother. I talk about college, I guess, at the age of 16 to around the age of 20, I went to college, and I did certain courses, and I remember I never did too well with college just because I've always hated academics. I always despised it, baby. I hate academics because I've always struggled to find a subject that I was really passionate about. Mm-hmm. And so I'd go to college and I would never be able to absorb anything just because it wasn't truly what I'd enjoy. Like I remember when I was younger, I was interested in PCs and fixing PCs. So I applied for a PC maintenance course. And throughout the course, it was nothing really to do with fixing PCs. It was more paperwork and whatnot, whereas I wanted to get, working with my fingers and my hands. And I never absorbed the course. But anyway, I never did well with college. Take some water, sorry.
Totally
And my
good.
mum wasn't pleased with that. My mum always seen me as kind of like a failure, should I say. I'm not going to lie, it's kind of horrible to think like that. So from the ages of 16 to around 20, do you know what, bro? When you're old, it's so hard to get an accurate time frame on when things have happened. So hard. So I dropped out of college finally around the age of 20, and I started dead-end jobs, still living in this dark room, in this house with a lack of natural light. I started working after 20. Mum's pissed at me, as you can imagine, because I've quit college. My first job was a window cleaner at the age of 20. And I did that for around a year or so. And that was back-breaking work. Easily one of the hardest jobs I've ever had. I'd have to get these poles. I remember working with two other people, and I would get these poles, and it was window cleaning where you didn't have a ladder. You had these poles that extended with brushes on the end of them, and they would squirt out purified water, and you would clean the windows, high up on buildings with these extended poles, and that would wreck my arms. I've never been like, I'm a small person. I'm 5'6" and about 148 pounds at the moment. So I've never been quite a strong person. So I would literally go to work, and I would come back home, and I would be absolutely exhausted, and I would fall to sleep immediately. And for that year, it was nothing but work and sleep, on and off playing World of Warcraft. Sorry, I'm just smoking my vape. And a year passed, and my mum approached me, and she said, "Would you like a job working in a school?" Sorry, not a year had passed, a couple of years had passed. I remember I quit that job, I quit the window cleaning job, and I was unemployed for quite a few years. Old school RuneScape came, and time passed while I was playing that, and my mum finally offered me a job, and it was a teacher's assistant in a school called Rose Hill. I applied for this job, and I worked with special needs children, Sae Bae, from around the year 2013 till the year 2015, somewhere around there. That was also pretty hard. I would go to Rose Hill, and when you're working with autistic children every day, you never know what you're going to bump into. You never know, bro. Every day I'd get pinched, kicked, spat on, my hair pulled, and I also seen some pretty messed up stuff. I did that for 3 years, actually, and I remember I said to my mum, after 3 years passed, "I'm done with this, mum. I haven't got a plan B. But I just don't want to do it anymore. Because I'm sick and tired of getting abused. I've had, I've had that all my life, from a childhood and whatnot. So I quit, and mum again was really upset with me. And this is when I started really No Life in RS. Became top 10. I always thank my mum for that. She could have kicked me out of the house and said, "You're a loser. You're not putting food on the table. You're not bringing in any income." She could have easily have said, "Fuck off, get out the house." But you know what? She left me to do my thing. I quit that job, and I went into my own shell, and I played RS, and that's when I became top 10, actually.
I'm just taking it all in right now.
Yeah, I'm trying my best.
No,
It's so hard to. Yeah, it's hard talking about my struggles. It really is. Makes me feel a little bit uneven, but I'm trying my best here. Just trying to tell a quick story, I guess. But
So So was part of the reason you started streaming was just to provide some income? That's something that you thought you would enjoy?
No, no, money on my mother's life. Money was the last thing I thought of. This was at a time when I was at my worst. I didn't believe in myself whatsoever. I didn't think I was capable of anything. I failed college. I failed my jobs. I didn't think I'd be ever successful again. I'm in my mid-20s by this point. I'm like 24, 25 or whatever. So when I was in my bedroom after I quit the job and I became top 10, 2016 passed. 2016 came, sorry. And I remember I thought to myself, I'm just going to try streaming out, not for money. This was at a point where I didn't believe in myself. The last thing I'd think was me being a successful streamer and making a living out of it.
What? Sorry to interrupt. What was the inspiration behind that? Did you used to watch Twitch a lot at that time?
Sometimes I'd watch Boaty, but no. Back in them days, I was hanging out with the Hexus crew. Good old Hexus, baby.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie. I used to be in a team speak with some guys, and it would get toxic a lot of the time, and would be in a massive echo chamber, and I'd probably
sounds about right.
Yeah, and I'd probably put that down to my rough start with Twitch and the way I was, but one of the reasons. But 2016 came, and obviously I'm down and out. I'm full of bad memories, bad experiences. I'm a failure, and I thought, you know what, bro? All I'm doing is playing RuneScape and doing nothing else in my life. I'm just gonna fire up the stream and talk to some people, see if they're impressed with my ranks. I remember thinking that I was like rank 9 at the time or so. When I started streaming, I thought, hey, let's see if anyone's interested in seeing some skilling. I used to watch Automelody too. I'd say it was one of my big inspirations.
Oh, yeah.
And and obviously this was at a time where I was at my low, as I'll keep saying. And I don't know if you remember, but I was so insecure. I was so upset with myself that I couldn't even show my face. I started my stream and I had that golden mask. You remember?
I actually don't remember that now.
So yeah, the first month or two when I started streaming, I couldn't even show my face. I was a shell of myself. I'd hide behind a mask. And as the months went by, I eventually took it off. And I found like the confidence to show my face finally. And bit by bit, things just started getting more successful. People would donate me money, and as the months went by, I thought, well, maybe I could make something out of this. I really like it. I was far from the man I wanted to be compared to who I am today. I was far from it. I know I had stuff to work on, but I knew I'd improve as a person eventually. Streaming gave me a belief to really push aside my demons, my past. And I went through with it, baby, and it's the best decision I've ever made in my life. Legit. It saved me. Twitch saved me. I don't know where I'd be without it. But it's made me into the confident person who I am today, bro. Head held up high. I'm 5'6", but really I feel 6'5", if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have a lot to thank just for the time I'm living in. I mean, the fact that, both of us get to basically live our dreams of just, playing the game we love and talking to people we enjoy being around and doing it all in the own, I don't know, just in our homes, like that's just incredible that that's actually even a possibility.
It's just the ultimate freedom, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. It's freedom. Not a lot of people get to say that they're truly free. A lot of people wake up every day and they've got to, start a job, go to work, and they don't really want to do it. But that's life, isn't it? At the end of the day, they got to do what they got to do. They put bread and water on the table, and whatnot. Yep. We're very lucky individuals, man. Very lucky.
So, what did happen now? I guess fast forwarding to 2021 from the time that I had you on the cast. By the way, now that you've talked a little bit about this, a lot of things are coming to my memory, and one of those was, Automelody was one of your inspirations, because I remember you talking about his music choice, and then that kind of led you into your music choice. So things are coming
Well,
to me. So
well, yeah. Anyway, Automelody was definitely one of my massive inspirations. He was streaming around the time I started streaming, of course, and man, I was running out of music to play. I don't know if when you started streaming, you were struggling. Pardon me, you were struggling with what music to play because I was. I
yeah,
didn't. I
yeah,
did.
I had a.
I didn't really. I didn't really have a fixated genre that I liked.
Mhm.
And I remember I started tuning into Automelody stream, and he was playing the progressive trance and the progressive house, and it was my first time hearing it. And I was thinking, my God, what is happening to my ears and my brain? It was such a healing music, and I'd never heard it before, and it cast such a spell on me. And I asked him if I could kindly play his playlist on my stream, to which he, said, of course you can, because that's Caleb. He's a lovely guy. So I took his playlist, and now I remember off stream, I would go down on his playlist and pick the songs out that I really liked and make my own playlist, which is called The Resonation. Made that in 2016, and I've slowly built it from Automelody's playlist. It's the spawn of his playlist.
So, what did happen between this past year since you've been on the
Yeah.
cast from last year until now? Because
So-
you did take a massive break.
So back to what I was saying. I was 2016. I started streaming, and life's going really well. And we're basically talking a fast mode type of way from the year 2016 when I started to 2021. Yeah, 5 years of streaming. Things are great. At one particular time, I didn't even have money to go to the shop to buy a chocolate bar. I had nothing. But streaming gave me a beautiful income. I built a supportive community. Man, playing RuneScape for a living, it's the dream, isn't it? But nothing's ever perfect, right? There's always stuff that we need to work on. And I was never happy with the house that I lived in, Sae Bae. That black wall and whatnot. And I fell into such a deep depression. I was never truly happy. I was thankful. I was happy that I was a streamer,
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, that whole time that I streamed in that room, I was thinking, I'm not happy here. I've lived here since I was 10 years old in this same neighborhood. I'm not happy here, bro. But I didn't have the confidence to move out. I didn't have the confidence. I was still a scared little boy. I was living with my mother, I'm not going to lie, until the year 2018 when she moved out. So I always, had the protective umbrella of my mother over me. Always been a mummy's boy. I'm the only child. We've never had a perfect relationship, me and my mum, but I still love her dearly. We've been through a lot together. And it just got to the point where I was, streaming was like my beacon of light. But when the stream turned off, darkness consumed me. And all I really had the strength to do was stream. For countless years, I remember I'd stream, and after my stream, I'd just go straight to bed. Not to sleep, but just to lay in bed. It was the only way I could really cope was to just lay down and watch TV in that dark room. That room literally crippled me. It stopped me from finding motivation to move out. Your surroundings can do that to you. They can work against you, can't they?
Yep.
And it just worked against me. I wanted to move out, but I was scared. And for many years, I lived like that. I'd stream, and off stream, I wouldn't play. I'd just be in bed watching TV. And I know a lot of people thought that I was pretending to enjoy the game because I wouldn't play off stream, but no, it wasn't that. It's just that the depression can hit you so hard sometimes that it just stops you from enjoying the things that you naturally enjoy. So I'd be in bed all the time, and fast forward to 2021, I took a break. I was always taking extended breaks because of my house, because I wasn't happy there. Every now and then I'd be gone for a month, or I'd be gone for 5 days, a week, etc. And I always had this fire in me that was suppressed because of the house. I've always wanted to do well with streaming. I've always wanted to stream nearly every single day and bring out good vibes and whatnot. But the house stopped me from doing that. 2021 came. I've been in this house since I was 16 years old. I'm in my 30s now. So December 2021, I'm on this month break from streaming. And I almost killed myself, just to make it blunt. I tried hanging myself. I cut myself. I was hospitalized. And at that moment, when I was in hospital and I was getting my wounds treated, it flicked something in me, baby. It flicked a switch. I thought to myself, you know what? You're at the lowest right now, Rig, that you've ever been. It can only go so low. And believe it or not, me nearly killing myself and harming myself, I needed that to happen. As silly as that sounds, it was a wake-up call. If that didn't happen, I'd probably still be suffering in that same bedroom that I was in with all of them black walls. And after I came out the hospital, about a week had passed, and I opened up my laptop and I started looking for places. Yeah, I spent like a solid 2 months looking for a place. And I remember I bumped into this apartment on my laptop, a MacBook Air. I went to go and view it, and I loved it. You know, when you look at a space, you can picture where things are going to go.
Yeah.
I want my TV there. I want my PC there. I know the couch can go there. I remember I mapped everything out. And I think it was like it was like the third apartment that I'd viewed. The others kind of sucked. I remember I said to the woman, I really like this place. Oh, by the way, I kept this a secret from everybody, baby. I didn't tell anyone that I was viewing apartments. It was meant to be a big surprise. Obviously, I'd ghosted everybody. I'd gone on like the biggest break of my streaming career. I'd probably gone for like 3 months at this point. And I remember I said to the woman, I'm interested. I'd like this place a lot. And she turned around, she looked at me and she said, well, there's about 5 or 6 people that are interested in this place. So there's no guarantee that you're going to get it. Yeah, I know. So I thought, and obviously I haven't really got my hopes up. So anyway, she said, I'm going to let you know. You should get a call back within 3 to 7 days. I was like, cool, thank you so much for your time. And at this particular time, I was scheduled to go to Ireland, baby, to visit my friends who was getting married. So I took a ferry to Ireland. I took the train from Nottingham to Liverpool, and I took a ferry to Ireland, and that was a lovely experience. And this whole time I'm thinking, man, am I going to get this apartment? Because I knew this apartment would be the key to my happiness. I knew it. Even you can be in depression and blinded by depression and sadness, but I think we all know what can make us happy, right?
Yeah.
And I knew that that apartment would be the key to getting out of the darkness and stepping into the sun. I knew it, bro. And that whole time when I'm traveling and I'm away to Ireland, I'm thinking, man, am I going to get it? Am I going to get it? I'd love to, because I know that if I get it, it will be the best thing in my life right now. It would be the best thing to ever happen to me. So anyway, I got to Ireland. It was about an 8-hour journey on the ferry. And it was a really nice experience. Have you ever been on a ferry, by the way, baby?
Yeah, I think I've been on a ferry a couple times in my childhood. I can barely remember, though. It's been a long time.
I like the sea air a lot. It's very refreshing. But anyway, I'm on this 8-hour journey on the ferry. And I had my own little cabin with a bed and a sink where I could sleep. I'd be on the balcony, smoking my vape, looking out into the Irish Sea. Seen some dolphins, by the way. Apparently they're a rare sight. But I got to Ireland, and I got the bus down south. I can't remember exactly where it was now, where I was, but I was in a lovely location. And I was with some old friends that I used to know from back in the day. They got married. We had a good time. Great, great people. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, am I going to get this apartment? I hope I do. Otherwise, it's back to the drawing board. You know, I'd looked at countless apartments I viewed like about 3, but I'd looked at countless apartments on the internet, and I was thinking, nope, it's not for me. Nope, it's not for me. Because, I'm a picky guy and I'm stubborn. So anyway, the wedding passed, and I said goodbye to everybody, and called the Uber to the ferry. And I got on the ferry, and it was about 2 p.m. in day, and I remember the day like it was yesterday. I got on the ferry. It was a clear blue sky, and the sun was shining, and the sea was all sparkly. And I got my coffee, because I love my coffee. I was on the balcony. We're pretty much in the middle of the journey at this point, right in the middle of the Irish Sea, on my way back to Liverpool, back to England. I remember I got a ping on my phone in the middle of the Irish Sea, and it was the people that own the apartments, and they said, we want you to live there. We have the keys. If you want to make a deposit, you're more than welcome. We'll be waiting to hear back from you in England. And at that very moment, that's when the doors to my new and amazing life started, baby. The doors finally opened.
That's insane. Yeah. It's crazy what an environment can do. Just switching environments can completely change your mindset on things.
Change is so important. So important. You got to be happy with your surroundings. Got to be so happy. We're human beings. We've got to make our home a happy place.
So,
I remember when...
yeah,
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to ask, I heard, and you can let me know if you want to share or not, but I heard that you also got a therapist, or you were talking to somebody that's something I heard. I'm not quite.
Well, that was in
positive on that.
2018.
Oh, that wasn't recent?
No, it wasn't
Okay.
recent. No, that was in 2018. Just to put it short, I had a therapist in 2018 just to improve as a person and become less toxic, less aggressive, etc.
Okay,
Yeah,
that must
that was a while.
I must be thinking of the last podcast we were talking about then.
No, I haven't had a therapist since 2018 or so.
So what was it like taking such a long break from streaming and then returning? What was the feeling like? Did you think everyone would have forgotten you? I know a lot of streamers feel that.
Yeah, there's always that fear in the back of your mind. There's always that fear in the back of your mind that, if you take a long break, you're not going to have the same viewership. You're never going to get your sub count back up there and whatnot. But at the end of the day, we need breaks sometimes, and we can't let fear rule us, can't we? You've got to do what your instincts tell you. You've got to listen to yourself and what's best for you. Because if you don't take breaks, and if you don't take movements, and you carry on streaming or doing whatever you're doing while you're unhappy, then you might just dwell in that darkness. I had to do it. I had to take my break. Fuck the sub count. Fuck the viewer count for now, man. I've got to focus on myself.
So, I'm looking at a question right here, and I mean, I guess there's multiple questions, and I guess they'll kind of feed into it. But Oreo's asking on Twitter, and I guess I'll just read all 4. They get a little goofy at the end, but the first one I'm definitely interested in. How does it feel to still be playing OSRS after all these years? And I'll add, how does it feel streaming as well after all these years? Do you think... Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Here, let me just read the rest, and then I'll let you go. Do you think that OSRS, if you've heard of that, the old...
Terrible idea.
Is a good idea. Perfect. Well, that's his question. Is a good idea?
No. Please, let me just go in a sec.
Yeah,
old school RuneScape is a terrible idea purely because it's niche. People want the 2000s. I've been there. I've played it. I played it for a year. I've been there. Mm-hmm. You want a 2005 mode. You want a 2006 mode, a 7 mode. But at the end of the day, there's not enough content. Yeah. You'll clear all of that content so easily with the mind frame you have in 2022. There's not enough content.
Yeah, I think that's the general consensus. I think there's a few purists out there that would definitely love it, but vast majority, I think, would get completely burned out very quickly. People are just getting,
in my opinion anyway, I could be wrong, but I just think some people are getting a bit too carried away with the nostalgia.
That's fair.
And at the end of the day, if 06, 07, 05 servers came out, there wouldn't be many players playing, I don't think anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. I'd like to imagine, but
No,
it's not a good
you're
idea.
spot on. I think you're spot on with it. It would, especially if the promise was to
Yeah.
never give any updates.
If 07 mode came out, what are you going to do for the next 5 years? Just spam God Wars?
There is no God Wars. Well, that would be the 2007 they would think of. Is pre-God Wars even. Like very beginning of old school, so.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that would so even worse.
Yeah. What are you going to do? K-Cube and Barrows? Like, I don't know. There's just not enough to do.
Yeah.
It's not going to fulfill your dopamine. You're so used to all of the content you've got right now in the game.
Yep.
Endless content, collection log, and all of this type of shit.
I do want to kind of wrap up your whole story as well before we get into some of these other questions. Just by saying I'm really happy that things took a turn, and I definitely wish the best for you in just the future, and because I know that life doesn't just have an upward thing. It's always, hills. It's up and downs, and so it's always constant improvement if you look for it. And so
it is part of your growth as a human. You need the bumps. You need all of the experiences, whether they're negative or positive, to develop and learn about yourself and your surroundings and life. You need all of these experiences, whether they're good or bad.
Absolutely. And it's been really cool seeing your return. You've been very consistent for the most part, streaming.
Extremely, yeah.
And
longer streams too.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I was in the old place, about 5 hours would come and I'd be like, I want to go back to bed. Now, sometimes I stream 6, 7, 8 hours consistently. Longer. Yeah.
And you don't seem to be so... Now, I can't say you were always the person that would maybe take criticism poorly, or when people would come in and be trolling in the chat, but I feel like you're just very, very relaxed about a lot of things now, which is really cool to see. It's just
because I'm just content with my life.
Yeah.
I'm just content. The old me, I'd just be projecting all the time. Okay. I'm just content.
Oreo asks a couple more questions. First thing, I guess if you have anything to add about how does it feel to still be playing OSRs after all these years? He also asks 2 more things. Favorite material / fabric for clothing. By the way, the last podcast we had last year, we were talking about your kind of adventure into more designer clothing and how you kind of got away from that, but for a time that was definitely a thing. And then
to be fair, the designer phase was quite a short span. It lasted about a year, and I probably bought about 7 pieces. Wasn't really a deep dive, to be fair, what a lot of people think.
And then before I let you answer all these, favorite cheese or pastry? There you go.
Could we do one question at a time, if that's okay?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know, just read. Yeah,
sure. Let's do it. Let's do favorite material / fabric for clothing, and then we'll go to the other one.
Yeah. So favorite material for clothing, honestly, cotton. Cotton is cheap, it's breathable, and it's completely natural. I love cotton. It's just so comfy. All of my t-shirts and shirts, they have to be made of cotton. Just because it's just nice. It's natural. Feels so comfortable, man. Cotton for sure. And let me think. Is there anything else that I like? Viscose. Viscose is like a synthetic material, but it's extremely soft. So soft. Another material that I really like, I only have one piece of this material. It's called cashmere. Are you aware of cashmere, Bae?
I think I've heard, I've definitely heard of it, but I think I've heard you talk about it on your streams. So
I have just one piece of cashmere, and it's an accessory and it's a scarf. And I've had it for 5 years now because I like to take care of my stuff. And it cost me £80 from John Lewis. Cashmere is basically a more special kind of wool. It comes from the cashmere goat, and it is basically lighter than wool, more insulating than wool, and not itchy whatsoever, like wool can be.
Damn.
So cashmere is second favorite for me. I basically call it the more premium wool.
So what are your thoughts on leather? I know maybe for clothing, not so much, but I do remember your passion for leather. In fact, you were sponsored. I'm not sure if That's still a sponsorship.
Affiliated.
Oh, okay.
Affiliated. Yeah, whatever I sell, I just make a bit of money and you save money. But yeah, my passion for leather, well, it's not just leather, but basically all of my life, I've always had a passion for the way things age and the way things change. Items, materials, brass, how it oxidizes and it changes color and it goes blue and like a dark brown, etc. You know how brass ages, right, baby?
I mean, not exactly, but yeah, I
Not
do
exactly.
know what it is. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just who I am, really. I just appreciate how things age over time and how things change. And leather's one of them. You get a leather that goes, you get it light and it eventually turns light, dark and shiny, etc. You call it a patina. I remember when I was a child, it's been an interest ever since I was a child, just the way things age. I remember I would get paper, like brand new paper, and I would pour coffee on it and dry it next to the fireplace, and it would be old and crinkly. And I do silly little things like that, man. Yeah, I just like the way things age, and leather's a good indication of how things age.
Yeah.
Just one of my funny little quirky things that I'm interested in. So, I like my leather belts, my leather wallets, boots, of course. I love leather boots. Got quite a few leather boots. And yeah, every day that I use my leather, I know it's funny, but every day when I like wear my boots out, when I come back home, I'll check my boots to see if there's any scuffs or darker patches and see how it's changed throughout the day. Yeah.
I'm actually just viewing the photo of you that was linked on the thread of you just absolutely buff it. I'm looking at your boots though. They're just very nice leather boots.
Yeah.
It's a funny picture.
But yeah, I would say that I'm quite an experienced person when it comes to the knowledge of leather. I'm quite knowledgeable about certain tanneries across the world that do certain types of leather.
Oh, I don't disagree at all.
Yeah, I'm quite clued up with my leather. I'm quite a leather enthusiast. So if any of you guys want to tune into my stream one time and ask me some questions about leather or whatever, I'm be more than happy to answer. If you ever want to buy like a nice leather product, I'd be more than happy to help out.
Awesome. Okay, what about favorite cheese or pastry? And I do know, and we talked about it on the previous podcast as well, of your whole baking phase as well, where you were making.
Well, that was just a COVID phase, man. I had nothing else to do, so I just baked cookies.
Love it.
But I'm one of these people that's a tunnel vision. COVID came, I had nothing really to do. And I thought to myself, I want to start baking, but I don't want to bake loads of things. I just want to make cookies because I love cookies. Who the fuck doesn't like cookies, baby? And I thought, I'm going to make cookies again and again and again until I nail it, until I make them pristine and amazing. And when you break them open, they're gooey and the chocolate's oozing. And yeah, I learned to bake chocolate chip hazelnut cookies and yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah, I've been friends with you on Snapchat for just years, and so I do just I peep the stories here and there. And I remember definitely years ago, just all the pastry, all the cookies.
Yeah,
and I think you made other things as well. I'm trying to. Was it all
just like
cookies?
once or twice? No, it was mostly just cookies, man.
Okay.
I don't even want to think of how many cookies I made in my old place. It was just a little bit of spark of happiness while I was living in that terrible fucking house, man.
Yeah.
But cheese, I'd say vintage cheddar gorge. I love cheese, but I'm not really an enthusiast with cheese. But yeah, vintage cheddar gorge would be my favorite. It's an English cheese that's aged in caves.
Smoked Gouda is my absolute favorite. Just that
sounds good.
That smoky flavor and kind of a little bit more dry.
I like smoky flavors.
Yeah.
But for pastries, it has to be the pecan maple plats.
What's that?
I think it might be a European thing, baby, but basically, my viewers don't know about this. Is my craze at the moment. But it's basically a pastry that's like formed in plats.
What are those?
In the middle of
plats?
Like the way you would plait your hair. I don't know. Like I can't really explain
what's that
it.
Word? Like
plats.
Like.
I don't know. It's just
like
called
separating,
a plat, man.
kind of like. I genuinely have just never even heard that word.
I'll link a picture on Discord. Hold up a sec. Let's have a look. It could be pecan plates. I don't know. I'm crap with words, but hold up. Let me get you a picture of this.
I'll show it to everybody.
Bear
on
with
YouTube.
me. Yeah, bear with me. Here. This is a good picture, I guess. Hold up. Here you go. That's a pecan plat. So it's basically a pastry with like finely chopped pecans on top with a thick layer of gooey maple syrup in the middle. As you can see, it's oozing from the pastry. They're my favorite pastries. British people will know what these are, I'm pretty sure.
See, in America, we would have just glazed that entire thing with sugar. Like you couldn't see the nuts on top. It's just been all sugar.
Yeah, but no, they're probably my favorite sweet snack, and I certainly do have a sweet tooth.
Oh yeah, same. Okay.
Oh, big time.
Well, here's kind of going back a year or so. Tom asks, what made you suicide the hardcore status? And I guess I'll just add on a little bit. Rather than just having died naturally, was it just a way to just totally terminate it? What was your thought process behind that?
I was just way too focused on the fear of dying rather than like pursuing my goals, and that's becoming a better player and learning the game. It was just simply stopping me from doing that. I was too scared of dying, and I just suicided. Yeah, went straight to the Heroes Guild one morning and killed myself in the Blue Dragon cage. Simple as that, really. I just couldn't be doing with the mode. It was limited me as a player.
Okay. Here's a little funny one. Spence Dog says, no questions, Dad. Just keep calling him Bae Bae. Best part of the cast.
I think I've called you Bae Bae about 5 million times this stream already, haven't I?
I love it. It's definitely like nostalgic to me for some reason. And there's nothing wrong with calling me Bae Bae. It's in fact, I've even changed my name on Twitch to Sater rather than Sae Bae at this point.
I know.
But
you will always be Bae Bae to me. I've called you Bae Bae for like half a decade.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. And Hey Jace still calls me Sae Bae.
Does he?
Yeah, it's just it's something, I don't know. It's adorable in a way to just continue on.
Jace is definitely a person that sticks to tradition. So yeah.
Yes.
Can imagine that.
Very very peculiar individual, but I love him.
Yeah.
Okay. Polo Bay asks, you're one of the, if not the most, chilled streamers I've ever watched. Is your new flat/apartment super zen to the max? In fact, I'll add on again, as I've been doing.
Right.
Do you have any plans to kind of pimp out your apartment, or do you enjoy the simplicity of it and just...
I mean, I think it already is pimped out. Have you not seen my video of it?
I have not seen the video of it. I've only seen your one stream angle.
I would like to say it's pretty fucking nice. And I know all of my furniture is like solid Canadian oak, American oak. Ooh. It's really pretty, baby. You probably should have watched the apartment video before yeah, just to get a bit clued up. But it's beautiful, mate. I think it is anyway. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've got a nice corner sofa. My bed's solid oak. I saved up for 3 years because I knew eventually I'd want to move out. I knew I'd want to, but I just couldn't find the strength until a particular time, of course. I saved up a lot of money the last 3 years of streaming so I could buy nice things one day if I wanted to move out.
Very cool. How many plants do you have in your apartment?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 plants. 7.
Love it.
Yeah, and that's actually... do you have any house plants?
I don't, and I feel like they really add to the whole apartment vibe, and I just have never done it. I'm too much of a... I don't know. I don't really decorate. They're
a lovely addition to where you live. Just having a lovely little living thing, that's living with you, and it adds color to the house, baby. Especially like if you buy some certain plants, the leaves can be like red and yellow and orange, etc. I've got one particular plant called a Chinese evergreen, and it's the plant behind me when I'm streaming, and that's beautiful. It grows in the forests of China. And it's got like a red trim around the leaves. But anyway, having plants in your house, it might not be for everyone, but for me, it's a lovely activity, again, to see how things change for me as the days go by, coming back to how things age. So when I wake up, the first thing that I do is make my coffee, take my multivitamins, and I'll go around to each plant and see how they're doing, how the leaves have changed. Have they grown anymore? Are they doing okay? I'll lift the plant plot up and plant pot up and now see if they need watering, depending on the weight of the plant pot. It's a nice little activity to do every day, just to nurture everything in the apartment and look after them.
I think plants would be nice living alone. I live with my 2 brothers currently, and so just getting things like that, I don't know. But I definitely see the appeal living alone.
Yeah, they're not hard work like a lot of people might think they are. I water all of my plants once every 10 days or so. That's it. They're good to go.
Oh, wow.
They're really easy to look after. You can get certain plants, succulents, cactus kind of plants, where you can water them once a month. That's it. Leave them to it. Super easy.
Okay. Will you ever get a full gilded set on your Ironman?
Full gilded. What? You want me to get my armor back on my Ironman? The gilded med helm, the gilded plate body, gilded plate legs, gilded boots, gilded two-hander, and the third age amulet. You want me to get my original set back on my Ironman?
Yes.
Which could probably take me about 150 years. Honestly, I would love to, but I would love to get just one piece of my armor back on my Ironman, but who knows?
I think
the whole set, I doubt it.
I think when you do pull a gilded piece, because you haven't, right?
No.
Yet. When you pull one, I think that the addiction will set in. I think that's at least my kind of hope / I think it'll just come naturally, is like you really want to pimp yourself out. Because whenever when I got my first third age piece, instantly I was like, okay, this is all it's about. Like, I just want third age now. That's all it.
I mean, I do all of my clues, baby. Whenever I get clues, I'm doing them constantly. I love doing clues. For that. I love my clues. Whenever I get a clue, I'm on that bitch right away, bro. Always, crossing my fingers for gilded or third age. But to get the full set, it's just not really feasible, baby. But the full gilded set that I had on my main, that's like 5 pieces of gilded and the third age item. What's the chances of me getting that?
The chances are one clue, one casket could have all of it. I mean, that would never happen, but yeah. No, I mean, I got my favorite piece of gilded actually last week, the gilded chain body.
Okay,
I love the chain body. It's so clean. It reminds me of Lord of the Rings when Bilbo's given the mithril chain.
Mithril.
Yeah, except it's like it's just so nostalgic because they didn't do anything to pimp out the chain body. It's like the typical bronze chain body, mithril, rune. But it's
the
gold.
way it should be.
Yes.
The way it should be is gold-plated rune.
Yes.
But yeah, I get what you're saying about the mithril chain body. Mithril, as light as a feather, strong as a dragon's scale.
That's what mithril should have been in this game. Mithril should have been higher than rune, in my opinion. Mithril should have never even come out until later. Should have been like the absolute best stuff.
Absolutely, man. But they were true to something. The Gower brothers at the time. Mithril is lighter than steel.
Is it really? I've actually never explored. Interesting.
It is. It's pretty light for a plate mail armor, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is lighter than steel.
Yeah, I'm holding on to hope that chain bodies actually make a comeback. I feel like lately we've all been really obsessed with more like tanky Torva, Bando. So I want to go back to like the medieval times, just chain bodies.
Oh yeah,
like let's.
Well, there was plate mail in the medieval times, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm more of a beefy armor type of person, my really? Gilded set. Yeah, I like big beefy armor, man.
I like the one thing I would really love to see is like a brand new armor that comes out from some boss or something that really is just a chainmail based thing. But I want it to have sleeves as well. I want it to just be full chain. Like that would be so cool.
I mean, we kind of had it once upon a time. Remember, the dragon chain body was best in slots.
Yes, that's what I think that's part of the nostalgia that really makes me want a new set like that. Okay.
I see where you're coming from. I see. Hey, before we move on to the next question, I've got just a couple of questions for you.
Yeah.
What are you doing in the game right now?
I am playing RuneScape. I am smithing cannonballs right now. I'm smelting.
With that double cannon mode, baby.
yes.
Hell yeah, it's fucking amazing, isn't it, bro?
I wanted something very chill today because I knew that we'd probably get into deep conversation, and the last thing I wanted to do was just be spam clicking something.
Yeah.
Taking it very easy.
I'm finally mining amethyst on my Ironman. I've worked so hard to get here. So hard, baby.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What's the plan
the
for
only
99? Are you going to be doing Amethyst the whole way, you think? Just
Yeah,
AFK?
definitely. The ammo is just too precious. I'm definitely going to be spamming this to 99. The only
What
thing I need is the expert mining gloves, which I'm going to get through Amethyst.
I want to take a little shift actually into your goals for the game because
Yeah,
you are on an Ironman and an
yeah.
Ironman that you've never experienced mid to late game Ironman. I mean, now you're
No.
experiencing it right now.
Hey,
And
I did one Theatre of Blood run with Elkin a
did
couple
you
of days
really?
ago, and I made it to the second to last boss without dying, baby. And I
Hell
went in there
yeah.
blind.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
I just had Elkin instructing me on what to do, and I did fairly well.
Alkin as a teacher too. Damn.
Yeah,
You only
yeah, that's my boy. Yeah,
Very cool.
hey,
No, there
Elkin's pretty experienced with TOB. He knows what he's doing.
TOB was extremely difficult going in, especially if you're going in it completely blind, where maybe you've only seen a couple streamers doing it here and there,
Yeah.
but it's tough.
So, I've delved into Chambers of Xerath once, and I've delved into TOB once, and both times were with Elkin. And surprisingly, maybe I much prefer TOB. I much prefer TOB just because you're getting straight into the bosses, no bullshit,
Yeah.
no mobs, no puzzles, no skilling or whatever. That's one thing that I actually don't really like about Chambers of Xerath. There's a lot of faffing around, whereas
Yeah,
TOB is straight to
absolutely.
the point, and I much prefer content like that. I did way better at TOB than I did Chambers.
I think they've just been improving, and I think Raids 3 is actually going to be one of those raids that is the pace doesn't slow down. It's like I think even the hallways themselves are going to have like sepulcher-esque obstacles. Just
Yeah,
getting to the next room will take a little bit of focus, which I think will be
it seems so.
inviting. I don't know. That sounds fun. That sounds like the flow doesn't leave. With Chambers, I mean, you get a thieving room, like the entire vibe of the raid is just completely gone at that point. It's like, this is so boring.
Yeah, the rhythm is just very up and down. I think in Chambers of Xerath, but it is what it is.
So what are your long-term goals on your account?
Right. So I do want to improve as a player. I'm pretty sure most of the community knows that, know me is that I wasted a lot of years. Well, not wasted, sorry. I spent a lot of years, getting 200 mils, which isn't really going to improve you as a player, is it? So I'm still I'm still pretty much a crapper, a noob. I want to improve as a player. Right now, I'm in the preparation mode, the preparation phase on my Ironman. I'm getting all of the necessities, a few achievement diaries out of the way. I've just got Amethyst out of the way so I can make the really good ammo for PVM, etc. And right now, my goals is a cool amulet or a necklace, sorry,
No,
for the
you're right.
10% mage. And I want to do Zora after I get the occult. So right now I'm on the Slayer grind. I want to do Zora to get the blowpipe, the toxic trident, and then after that I will be diving into raids here and there. So I just on that simplistic mission to just improve as a player, slowly but surely, but at my own pace. I'm basically working up in difficulty of PVM. That's the goal for me, really, to ease into it. And it's going to be quite a slow process, but that's the way I want to do it. I don't really want to jump into all of the into the elite PVM because I just get way too much performance anxiety. I just want to slowly polish myself as a player. So I would definitely say this year you'll see some gauntlet, some raids, etc.
What's your Slayer level right now?
90.
Have you done Serb? Yeah. Wait, is Serb
It's
91?
91.
Serb's 91.
Yeah, yeah. Serb's around the corner, but I've got all of the boots ready. I've got Infinity. I've got Rangers.
Ooh.
I've got my Dragon boots, of course. So I'm ready.
Wait, have you done any Sire yet?
No, I've never done Sire before.
Oh, a lot of people despise Abyssal Sire. I
Yeah.
think, I mean, I think I have to agree with them until you get Dragon Claws, which a lot of people don't have Dragon Claws when they grind Abyssal Sire, but those
Yeah.
claws just melt.
Melt it.
Absolutely
Yeah.
melt it, especially at the end where you're just sitting there hitting zeros over and over. Those claws will just finish the kill really nicely and cleanly.
Well, I was told that to do Sire, I probably need a blowpipe, if I can remember correctly. I can't remember. Need a better range weapon, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need one. A lot of people use the trident to kill the vents, and then they just go with an arc light and kill it. I'm pretty
really?
sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you would already be set. It would.
Oh,
Let me just say, it won't be the most enjoyable experience because a lot of people just don't enjoy.
yeah.
Sire,
Well, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get semi-decent things before I jump into things. If you know what I'm saying. I don't want to go into things scuffed as hell.
Sire
So,
and
right-
Serb are definitely like just so easy now that they're arc lightable, and arc light is so dominant. So
Oh yeah,
I
it's
don't think it would be
ridiculously
too
fucking
big of a
powerful.
deal. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm in the preparation phase really. I'm just polishing the account up, getting some nice items, Zora items. I'm going for the Dragon Warhammer grind eventually.
You got.
Yeah.
I'm so envious, man. Like
I have so much to do.
truly the greatest times in my Iron Man experience were like late game Slayer bosses
Yeah.
and then into chambers. Like chambers were very intimidating for me. I never really wanted to do it because it just felt like such a big learning curve and so many hours. But
I have so much content to do that I've never done before, and not a lot of people can say that, can't they?
no, not
I have
this
so
year.
much to do.
That's really
In my
exciting.
stream, in my stream, my viewers are teaching me. But when I go into other people's streams, they're the pro. The streamer, they're the pro. They're the ones with the Zuck helms, the Inferno capes, and they're teaching the viewers. But it's the reverse in my stream.
I think there's quite a. I don't know. I wouldn't say you're alone in that. Although it does feel maybe different because you have played for so long, and yet you do kind of feel that sense of.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not exactly newbiness, but just not having experienced a lot of the PVM side of the game and Iron Man especially.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Okay. Eevescape asks. He says, beg you get him to tell the RuneFest breakfast story.
Christ. So, do you not know about this?
I'm like you're just gonna have to go into it.
Well, I have always known who Eevescape is, the lovely man from down the Australia ways. And, I've always watched his YouTube videos here and there, so I've always known who that guy is. And I remember it was 2019 RuneFest. Was it 2019? I think it was anyway. And we're at the Aviator Hotel. A lot of the streamers are sat down around this table. And Eevescape's there. And his friends are like, oh, yeah, Eevescape this and Eevescape that. And I don't know, they're cracking jokes and mentioning his name. And Eevescape's there laughing. And me being little rig, being a little troll, I went, who the fuck's Eevescape? Never heard of him before. And everyone looked at me and they looked at each other and they didn't say anything and they just kind of laughed it off. And I remember Eevescape looked me dead fucking set in the eyes as though, what? This is kind of awkward. I was like, who the fuck's he? I've never heard of him before. Obviously, I know deep down who he is.
Yeah. I
don't know. I was just in troll mode. I was in troll mode, bro. I was going to approach him and say I'm joking, by the way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do this joke in this day and age, just because I'm a little bit different now. But anyway, the day went by, and Eevescape approached me at RuneFest, and he went, "Hey Rig, I hope you're doing okay, mate." I was like, "Yeah, I'm doing good." And he went, "I'm Eevescape, by the way." I was like, "I know, brother. I know exactly who you are. I was just fucking around with you, you clown." That was it, really. That's the whole story. That's it. I just pretended I didn't know who he was. And then we had a nice little talk.
Those stories of streamers and a lot of like well-known players just meeting up at RuneFest, and I vividly remember us talking about on the last podcast just RuneFest adventures, like the good times you've had there. And I haven't experienced it because I started streaming, and as soon as I got to a point where I think I would have enjoyed RuneFest, of course, COVID came, and I am just dying for another opportunity to go to a RuneFest. Like,
it's a great time. Fun. I have a little piece of advice for you, though. Don't hang around outside the toilets at RuneFest.
Okay.
Want to know why?
Wouldn't plan on it, but yeah, why?
Well, I was so I needed the toilet, and I had my hoodie on that said Rigondeaux on the back, so obviously people could spot me from a mile away. And I was standing outside of the toilets because one viewer stopped me to talk to me, and I shook his hand and said, "How you doing?" And I had my back facing the entrance to the toilet, so everyone that came out the toilet, they'd see Rigondeaux. So I actually had people stopping me constantly to talk to me and whatnot. And I swear to God, baby, every single hand that I shook was a wet hand.
Oh my God.
Every single hand was wet through. Do you know what? Sometimes I think to myself, maybe it was a group of lads in the toilet that was like, hey, there's that little rig cunt outside. Let's piss in our hands and shake his hands. You know, I always think maybe they did that. Fuck that guy. But yeah, don't stand outside of the toilets with a Sae Bae on your back.
All I know is avoid the dance floor. Apparently, you are not allowed to wear deodorant on the dance floor.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I always just remember
Jesus
that meme.
Christ.
Just that meme of that big guy with the sunglasses holding open the door, and if you smell like BO, then you're allowed in, but if you're not,
So
stay outside.
2016 was my first Rune Fest, and I have an experience with this. I remember I was hanging out at the bar with a Lowlander. You remember Lowlander?
Oh yeah.
Wim? The king of the Ironman, the absolute king.
Absolute beast.
Me and him were hanging out by the bar, and I'm having my nice Coca-Cola because I don't drink alcohol, of course. And the balloon started dropping. You know, they were doing like a drop party on the dance floor where everyone had been dancing and listening to the music. And Wim looked at me and he was like, "Hey, Rig, do you want to go to the dance floor and see if we can pop some balloons?" I was like, "Sure." So he walked really fast, and I was walking kind of slow. I think I was kind of tired, man. And I eventually got to the dance floor, and I shit you not, it was like a force field of pong. Pong, bro. That
What's pung?
ass.
I mean, I could have guessed, but I just had to make
Fresh ass.
Jesus Christ.
Fresh, bro. It was like a force field of such a bad smell that I have never smelled before. And the only thing that it really reminded me of, I used to have this book when I was a young kid. It was like a Simpsons book with stickers. And there was this Homer Simpson sticker with him in his fridge. And you scratch the sticker where the fridge is, and you could smell Homer Simpson's fridge. And it smelled like that. So what it reminded me of. And the smell hit me, and I literally turned around, did a fucking 180, and walked back to the bar. It deflected me.
Christ. That's what you get when you have a bunch of gamers that, spend a lot of time playing RuneScape. Probably just don't understand personal hygiene. And I'm not saying everyone there, but just a few people is all it takes. A few people that are really sweaty.
Yeah.
Haven't showered in a couple of days. Oh my God.
Like they might not smell pleasant, but I like to think we don't know what's going through their life. Maybe they're in a dark place and they don't take care of themselves all that much. So, we never know their story at the end of the day, bro. But it was a pretty bad smell, I'm not going to lie. So I did walk off.
Just like we don't really see the memes anymore, but like a month after every RuneFest on Reddit, you would just see the same deodorant memes on RuneFest because everyone experiences the same thing.
It was bad, man. I've never smelled something like it before. It was terrible.
Okay, here's a question from Quasi, kind of relating to something I asked previously about your goals. But he asks, what has been Rig's favorite piece of content as an Ironman already? And then he has a couple more questions, but I guess...
My favorite piece of content so far? Remember, I've not really dived into any, exciting content yet. Mm-hmm. But I would probably say my favorite content so far... maybe Barrows. I really liked the Barrows grind, but I was 05 at the time. I've not dived into any serious PVM yet, to be honest.
That's fair.
Actually, no. My favorite piece of content that I've tried is probably Theatre of Blood. I really enjoyed that. I've only done it once, but I enjoyed my time doing that. I can see myself spamming that one day.
Oh, those would be great streams.
Oh yeah, I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I didn't like Chambers of Zerikor that much, but Theatre of Blood, I loved it.
That will be a very hype stream. Seeing the thumbnail before clicking on your stream and seeing you at Verzik,
Finally doing some worthy content. Yeah.
If you thought if you thought Ranger boots was a great dopamine hit, just wait until you see a scythe in your
A
chest.
scythe or Justiciar or something like that.
Even in a Vernic will just, I mean, it's
Defender.
such a good feeling.
Absolutely,
it is so
man.
good.
But honestly, my dreams as an Ironman is my ultimate goal in this game. It's in the back of my mind, baby. I literally think about it so much, but I'll get it when I'm ready, and it'll be down the line when I've got better gear. I have always wanted the Infernal Cape.
Yes. Didn't you get pretty close to it? I even heard that you had done it a little bit on your main, but you just were like, eh.
So I did 5 attempts on my main, and I got to wave 50 plus every single time in the 5 attempts. My best wave was 59.
Oh, you'll get your cape. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll have budget
about 4
gear,
brews.
of course, but yeah.
Yeah, but no, that's that's basically like the I wouldn't say the ending. It isn't. I don't see an ending to this account. I want to keep playing, but the cherry on the cake, if you know what I'm saying, the Infernal Cape. If I get that, I will be satisfied.
I don't think you will be though. That's the thing. Because as soon as you get an Infernal Cape, your confidence and your yeah.
I think I'll just focus on collection log and all that type of shit. I guess after that.
That's fair. Something goes. There's like a switch that happens. At least for me and a lot of other people I've talked to. As soon as you get your Infernal Cape, at least for me, I thought, okay, I'm getting my cape and I'm never ever going back to the Inferno ever again. Like this is enough for me. I'm just gonna get it once, and then you get it, and you're like, ooh, I'm kind of good. Like I'm kind of good at this game now, and then you want to like push your limits a little bit more. So I don't know.
I've always liked wave mechanics in games where you like fight monsters and it gets harder and harder. I've always liked the fight caves, but we can't compare the fight caves to the Inferno. It's 2 different worlds. It's night and day. But I aspire to do Inferno. It's in my mind. I am not avoiding it. I just want better gear. I want to become a better player before I jump into it. Because right now I don't even know what tick manipulation is. I need to understand ticks and whatnot first. I need to get better with switches. I just need to become a better player. I'm not ready for it yet.
It's so exciting though. So much to look
I need to work on. I need to get confidence too, because right now I don't know much about PVM. I need to gather confidence before I jump in there.
Yep.
And try out other means of PVM, TOB raids, and all that type of stuff. I need to become a better player before I jump in there. But yeah, one thing's for sure though, baby, which I will speak on. One day, I hope to get the Infernal Cape, and one day, if I get the Infernal Cape, it won't turn me into a douchebag like it has many other players. It makes some players instantly elitist, it seems.
Yep.
And that kind of shit needs to be gone. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to get the Infernal Cape. That's completely fine, but some people can't fucking live with that. The psychopaths. If you ain't got the Infernal Cape, you're a crapper, you're shit, blah, blah, Why haven't you got it? Blah, blah, blah. But who cares? It's not that deep. Yeah. Some people don't want to get it. And that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be an elite PVMer. Some people just want to play the game casually and not do hard content. Some people want to play the game in a relaxing way, and that's fine.
Yep.
So when I get the cape, I'm never going to be that dude that ridicules players for having in fire cape or whatnot. Never, never, ever, ever.
Good for you. Because, that is a very common thing.
Yeah, that shit's a big problem, bro. It's literally bullying. It's bullying at the end of the day.
No, absolutely.
And I'm not about that these days.
I mean, I even remember back in 2015, I got my first ever fire cape. Just sitting at the Grand Exchange, judging every obby caper at the Grand Exchange. Just, you pathetic.
Yeah, it's just not the way to be, bro. It
horrible.
Really isn't.
It's horrible. Yep. And it usually happens when, I don't know.
Everyone's got their own style of playing, man. Not everyone's destined to get the Infernal Cape. Not everyone's destined to get the Zut Cape, and that's that.
I have a couple questions for you regarding what I've seen on Twitch lately. And one of those things is your return to streaming after your break. I've noticed you've been a lot more, I guess, at least my perception of it is more engaging with the Twitch community in general. In fact, a lot of the new generation of streamers know who you are and really admire you. One of them.
What do you mean by engaging?
I don't know what it is. I feel like as a 2016 streamer, that was your era with what I remember is Zulu, Hey Jace, all those guys.
The Magnificent Trio.
Yep. I feel like there's something that happens as a streamer where all of a sudden 2 years later, there's new streamers coming. It's like the new generation. I always see it like every 2 years or so.
Yes.
And then the older guys seem to already have a solidified base where they're comfortable. They don't really need to be reaching out to newer streamers and trying to build more of connections and stuff.
No, I would say I'm completely an independent streamer at this point, thankfully.
But here's the cool thing I've noticed is that you actually do kind of reach out. I don't know about reach out, but it's mainly like you're just very welcoming. And in fact, I've seen like Zoe Pancakes have a lot of good to say about you. And she's one of the absolute like new generation of streamers that I've seen. And that's really cool to see the generations kind of combining because it doesn't happen often. And I gotta just say that's a cool thing I've noticed.
Well, I'm just a person that views the Twitch community, the directory, as one big family, and whoever wants to start streaming for whatever purpose, may it be a hobby or their goal is full time, I'm always encouraging them. You know, at the end of the day, it's a cake, and I'd love for all of us to have a slice.
That's the really cool part as well, is that there really is no seal. Like, there's not like, oh, that we have enough streamers, get out of here. Like,
No. It's a very
growth.
selfish way to put it at the end of the day. I think streaming is such a privileged way of life, and if anyone wants to pursue it, I'd do nothing but encourage them to go for it, chase the dreams, whatever they want to do in life, you know, encourage them at the end of the day. If that's what they want, you encourage them.
Yep.
It's part of being a human.
Now, kind of adding on to that question, have you ever considered doing other things with your stream?
Like
whether it be a different game, whether it be some sort of IRL, whether it just be still what you're doing right now, but just changing things up, adding new elements to your stream.
Do you mean like playing different video games? And
yeah, that too, but also just, I don't know, just changing things up in any way. It could still be the same game. It could still be certain things, but just adding different things.
Yeah. My stream isn't broken, so I don't want to fix it. So I'm pretty happy with the way things are going. I've always had the same kind of formula really with streaming. But as for playing different games, I like playing different games. It's very rare because I'm just too fucking dedicated to old school baby. I'm more motivated than I've ever been. I've probably been the most motivated playing old school now, living in this new home. Than I've ever been, really. I love the game more than I ever have, honestly. But when it comes to streaming new games, I don't really like to tinker into that, really, just because I like streaming old school. When I play a different video game, I don't know why, but the vibes change. It really does, man. I'll play a different video game, and I'll like say that I'm going to play it for a couple of days, but I'll still get a constant influx of players saying, "Have you quit? When are you going back to RuneScape? What made you burn out, Rig?"
Every time.
Oh, this is RS3. Blah blah. Yeah, I just get shit like that, man. I just can't be fucked. When are you coming back to old school, Rig?
See, I've never experienced that yet because I have been a absolutely dedicated old school streamer. But yeah, that always terrifies me of just even dipping your toes into any sort of.
It's to be expected, though, because for the past 6 years, it's been nothing primarily but old school RuneScape. So when I play a different video game, it just catches a lot of people off guard, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not going to lie. I do like streaming different video games. It's ever so rare. I do enjoy it. But again, you just get people coming in constantly asking, why have you quit? Even though you've played a different video game for one fucking day. Yep.
Okay, here's a topic, and I feel like I already know the answer, but I'll let you. It's just A. He asks, will you ever make another hardcore, or is that just not for you anymore? No. Terrible experience. No, I'm dedicated to Rigondeaux, my Ironman. No. It was a dreadful experience for me. I don't want to play the game in an uncomfortable way like that anymore. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I was a hardcore on this account even, and when I died, I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not like subjecting myself. And I even brought up a point on my stream, like hardcore seriously restricts you.
It does.
Beyond even content. I mean, you will sit at God Wars and panic eat up to 120 HP at all times because it's just the thought of you dying is just horrible.
You're constantly playing with your ass cheeks clenched.
Yep, and you
And
can't
I'm
even
not about
enjoy the true mechanics of a boss because you're so focused on staying high HP.
Surviving.
Yes.
Yes.
It's boring.
It really does limit some of us. It severely limited me in my will to branch out and become a better player and learn things. For one, I couldn't even step in the fucking wilderness. I was too scared.
Yep.
But no, that's a big no. I suicided my hardcore.
Yeah.
There's your answer.
I've also brought up on actually just last week's podcast with Qneeks. We were talking about his experience initially starting streaming where he had made several hardcores and just continued to die on them and continued to remake. And I'm really glad, and part of it is to do with Bodhi having moved on to a main account where he's collection logging, where that whole, I don't know, there was a real big sentiment in the community that hardcore Ironman was like the best content. And now I'm glad it's kind of taken a turn where you don't see quite as many hardcores anymore. And it's not as exciting as it used to be a few years back. Which is good in my opinion.
The best content is whatever you enjoy the most. I'm an Iron Man. I love Iron Man, but it's not the center of the fucking universe for everybody. Mm-hmm. I'm aware of that.
Okay, Champions Cape has a funny question. Please have an in-depth 5-minute discussion on how the Ranger boots looked back in 2004, and they're actually linked here, and they just look like a pair of gnome boots, green little gnome boots. I don't know if we even have 5 minutes to talk about this, but
no,
do you have any thoughts whatsoever on that?
No, they just used to be green boots, and now they became the Ranger boots we know today. They just got graphically updated.
I love how Ranger boots look. You said it perfectly on your stream when you got them that Pegasians are the downgrade. Truly,
they are. They look so much worse than Ranger boots, baby.
They do.
They do. They don't look elegant at all. They look clunky. I don't know. There's something about them, man. I'm probably going to turn on that plugin where It still looks like Ranger boots.
Oh, the transmog thing?
Yeah, but then again, everyone will say, why haven't you got pegs?
Yeah.
Everyone just, you just can't win. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
See, I've only had one pair of Ranger boots on my iron. I've done about almost 900 mediums at this point. Still just have my one pair, but I have been passively hunting another pair of Rangers just so I can actually flex those as a little, little bank standing boot.
There's a little bit of a... fashionscape.
Yeah, because Pegasians just don't hit. They just don't work. They don't work with fashion. They're still fine, but like...
I like Prims. I like the mage boots. I forget the Eternals, are they?
Eternals.
I like them. They look great. But there's something about Pegasian boots with range gear. It just doesn't click to me like the range boots do.
Yeah, I think the biggest part is like Pegasians don't look bad. It's just Rangers look so much better.
They do. They're one of the most prettiest and clean looking items in the game, the Rangers, man.
Absolutely. You know what's a really nostalgic item for me? I used to, back in the day, I got really obsessed with RuneScape. This is probably like 2006, 2007, because I had quit for 8 years after the removal of Wilderness and stuff. But before that, I used to have a little notebook. And I would basically recreate my own version of RuneScape. I'd have pages and pages and pages of me designing gear
Maps
and me like
gear and
drawing stuff and like writing the levels of certain things and drawing maps. Like I swear to God, if I actually go to my home, I'm pretty sure
find them, man. That'll be content for Twitter.
Yeah, I think I have a drawer of all of these little notebooks of me just being so into RuneScape. I mean, it's such a core part of me. But one of the most nostalgic items, in my opinion, is the Santa hat, which doesn't hit quite as well anymore because Santa hat's just super common now. But the Robin Hood hat.
Oh yeah,
the Robin Hood hat has something that's super incredibly nostalgic to me. That just like
well, the Robin Hood's especially been quite special to me because I'm from Nottingham, baby, and that's where the tale of Robin Hood came from. So it's a very special item for me too. I've always loved it.
Yeah, that Robin Hood hat is just like So good. I remember just seeing items, like just the sprites of the items, not even the items on your character, but just what they look like in the inventory.
In the inventory,
Yep,
yeah.
Yep. There's
And the Robin Hood looks so pretty in the inventory, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, bro. That lovely orange feather on it.
There are a lot of items that you play this game and it just brings you back to when you were 9 years old and you're just like, oh my God, like I used to dream about this.
What was my favorite item back in the day? Let me think. Well, the item that I frothed over the most, I'd probably say when I was 14 years old in the old neighborhood, probably the dragon chain, baby. It was the prestigious item to have back then. It's what a lot of players dreamed of, frothed over, worked towards. The D chain. It was one of the status items back then, wasn't it? Back when it was about 18 mil in 2004, 2005. It was 18 mil, but this was when GP was so different. The way we viewed GP back then was so different compared to how we view it right now. For one, 18 mil back then was probably like 3 bill right now, right? But we had a different view on gold back then. It was just so much harder to make.
Oh, yeah. I mean, back then, picking flax was a good moneymaker in our eyes.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I remember many, many times people would trade me to flex and they'd put up 100K and I'd lose my shit. Completely lose my shit.
There was something truly special about seeing the white text when it went to 100.
Yes.
And there was an era, and you probably played more and you remember more than me, back when the 100K was actually yellow, not
yellow. Yes, I played for quite a while before it turned white and green. But yeah, once upon a time, no matter.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
10
I played for a while.
You have a green cash stack on your iron, correct?
Yeah, 13 mil right now.
Yeah,
humble 13 mil.
That green though, it still hits.
Oh
different.
Yeah, bro, great update.
Different.
But I'll tell you something about the old days compared to now.
Yeah.
Again, I love the game so much, bro. But I've played it for nearly 2 decades now. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I'll say about the old days compared to right now is that nothing makes my jaw drop anymore like it did as a child, when the imagination was broad. In this day and age, I can see a Zuckelm and I'll be like, wow, that guy's such a great player. I'll be respectful and I'll see like an Inferno cape. And again, I'll be like, wow, that's amazing, bro. I know what that guy's been through. I've seen all of the streams of people struggling with Inferno. But back in the day, when I was 14, 13 years old and I'd see someone in full dragon, my jaw would drop. It gave me such a reaction. They'd have full dragon, and here was me chopping oak trees for fucking money, getting like 2K an hour, and they're in tens of millions of, and I'd be thinking, how have they done that? How?
You know what's
how
crazy?
Have they done it?
Okay, so I have a couple things to add. First of all, level 126s at Castle Wars Lobby 2006. You see those players, and they would wear their little cavaliers and their abyssal whips in their hand and their D chains. First of all, abyssal whips were abyssal whips and Robin Hood hats were like god tier. The D chain didn't quite hit me the same as it affected you, but in Castle Wars, when you would see someone like level 120, it's when they had the ancient staff, you would knew that you've won the game. Oh, Arims too. Arims.
Everyone would crowd around him and parade him and say, "This is it. We've won the game. We have an ancient mage."
And then you'd see him leave the portal and go to the other team, like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to like spam into their port. Yeah, there was always like those Castle Wars lobbies, I swear, were just so skewed. Like you'd get a total noob team.
Well, in 2004, I played throughout the whole year of 2004. And back then, it was actually quite rare to see someone level 100.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a rare sight.
It was so rare, yeah.
Yeah.
110 and above especially, too. You're like...
Oh, yeah, bro. Yeah, when you see someone that was level 100, you'd think, fuck me, he's a walking god.
Yeah. I would fanboy the fuck out of them. Yeah. I would go to POH parties and just like look. I would go to the throne room where there's a bunch of level 100 pluses, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to be your little like servant, basically, because like I'm just in awe of your...
Back when combat levels were relevant, you would literally pay attention to what combat level people were. Back then, I'd just right-click people, but I don't see the numbers. I just don't see them. I just see the green and the red.
Yep.
But back then, you would pay attention to their combat level. Holy fuck, he's level 112.
The worst thing ever was coming to old school because I started in 2015 September, and there was already 6-hour Guthans, all that shit, and so it was just such a pathetic sight to just log in and see just everybody was a level 115 plus.
Yeah.
And then you'd look at
pretty
their
sad
stats,
time.
and it was just like total level 800.
Yeah, that should have been fixed so long ago. They
Yes.
left, I think Jagex left the 6-hour Guffin method up for far too long.
Way too long.
Yeah.
There was one other thing I wanted to add. Oh, it was I think it was the fuck, I've kind of forgotten where I was going to
Take your time.
Nah, I can't remember. It'll come to me in a second.
Okay.
But I do just really love those times. So I'll ask you a question. What was your most just nostalgic memory? And I may have asked this in the previous podcast, but I want to just know, just for old time's sake, just
My
most fondest memory back then.
my most fondest memory of what, the mid 2000s, early
Sure.
2000s.
Yeah.
Honestly, plain and simple. I spent my whole time from level 75 woodcutting to 99 at the magic trees at the Sorcerer's Tower, sorry. Right next to the Legends Guild. I did 75 to 99 there with all of my friends back then, with our Legends capes and pieces of our dragon, just dropping magic trees and talking to people after school, getting into arguments, fighting off the randoms. That's my fondest memory. Whenever I think of the days back then, it's the magic trees.
Did you ever? Okay, first of all, I was a woodcutter back then, so
Yeah.
those
It
were
wasn't-
that was my dream, was to cut magics with the kings. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
with the kings, like just
Oh,
chilling, talking, chopping your magics. Like, oh,
Well, yeah, in 2004, if you could cut magic trees, you were actually a respected player.
yeah,
Literally, you were
Legit.
respected.
dude, getting to 60 woodcutting was like the hardest grind of my entire life. Just getting to use, and then I was like, dude, I have to do
Yeah.
this twice over, basically.
Oh, I remember fondly, I'd be cutting magic trees, and every now and then we'd have a noob walk by in pieces of steel and mithril gear, and he'd be like, "Oh my god, you guys are magic log cutters! Holy crap, you guys are amazing! Could I have a magic log, please?" And he'd beg us for a magic log just so he could have one. This was back when the magic trees looked different. Can you remember that?
No, did they?
They
I'm
looked
very
different back in the day. So in the 2004 times, they were like a normal tree with a blue swirling light around them. Yeah.
Do I?
Do you not remember that? Well, actually, you started in 2006, right?
No. I started in 2004, but it was like...
Oh, my bad.
It was around fall, though, so now I'm very curious. I'm going to look up images.
See what they look like? Hold up. Let me see if I can find a picture. It's so hard to find a picture sometimes of what they
Yeah.
used to look like. Because honestly, they didn't really... it wasn't really in the game for that long before they got updated to the starry, sparkly magic tree. Oh, I can't find a picture, man. That's so sad. But yeah, they used to look different.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always just praise those kings, and I would try to play it cool, but I couldn't. I was fanboying so hard. I tried to I tried to be so cool, and I was just a kid, and I just could never be one of them. But
it's wrecking my head that I can't find a picture. I'm not gonna lie.
somebody in the comments will probably find it or something.
Yeah, but they used to have a blue swirling light around them, and the logs look like any normal logs.
Interesting. Did you ever get any 99s back then?
Yeah, 99 woodcut.
Was
Yeah,
that
I
it?
got it in 99 rune crafting. I was a beastie rune crafter back in the day, baby.
Wait.
I was.
Are we talking post 2007, like the year?
Yes, I was a 99 rune crafter in 2005.
Jesus. Are you
Yes,
serious?
yeah, I skyrocketed my progression after 2005.
You were,
Yes, I
you
was
were
a
one of the
beast.
kings. Holy shit.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was a beast.
I did not
in the
know
day.
that.
I've always loved rune crafting ever since a child. That's why I got 100 mil on my main. I've always loved it.
So,
I was an abyss rune crafter when I was 14.
Did you ever pay runners? Because that was the glory
No.
days of basically just getting servants to just work for you for 10K an
I-
hour.
No, I did the lore. No, my bad. I did the lore running world, and I would craft lore runes. And I did that to 91. Sorry, my bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were one of the kings. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought
Yes.
maybe you had gotten some 99s post, a little bit later before EOC
No.
and stuff, but damn,
I, I
okay.
I was 99 runecraft. I was 99 woodcutting, and the rest were like 80s and 90s.
That is very impressive. See, that's back
Yeah.
when a lot of us right now are in our mid to late 20s, where you're in your
Yeah.
30s now, and like you just had a
Mm-hmm.
bigger brain than all of us. We were
So
children. You were at
so
least a teenager.
basically from the year 2000 and late 2003 to late 2004, I was basically a shitter. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know a clue. I was wandering around doing stupid stuff. But then I started woodcutting, and it advanced to 2005, and I got to 99, and I bumped into a certain player that was doing magic trees, and he went by the name of Calorius. And he actually went on to be rank 1 for a particular time around the year 2009. And
Holy.
he was the one that told me about runecrafting. I remember saying to him, how can I make more money? He had a lot of 99s back then. He was a beast. And I remember saying, how did you make all of your money? Because he had 99 prayer, and that was insane.
Yeah.
And he said, I runecrafted. So that's how I got into runecrafting by Calorius.
Wow. And he was a rank
Yeah.
1 player at some point. That's insane.
At some particular time, yeah, around 2008, 2009, he was rank 1. Not for that long though. But yeah, in 2005, he had a lot of 99s.
What was the best year of RuneScape in your opinion? Just like the most
When
magical, I guess.
when I was a child, I would probably say, let me just process this question. So much history, baby. Let me think. The best year for me, I would probably say when Slayer was the end skill. So 2005, yeah. It was just a simplistic time. It was magical and simplistic. Before farming, before construction, before hunter. Farming, hunter, and construction changed the game in some ways. We had chins to get 99 range. We had the POH, it came with the Gilded altar and whatnot. We had farming, herbs. Slayer was just and Slayer was the end skill. It was just a more simplistic time.
Yep.
And it was fascinating watch everyone race to 85 Slayer to get that unknown weapon at that particular time, the Abyssal Whip.
Oh yeah. So good.
Because remember, this is a time where Jagex would bring out updates, and I much preferred it, and they'd tell you nothing about the update. Every update that came out came with mystery. And I wish the old school team did that. They basically tell us the whole update before it comes out, and we know what to do pretty much, it seems. But back
Yeah.
then, there was mystery in the game, even with the updates. And seeing the first players get the weapon, we had to figure out how powerful it was and shit like that.
And the special attack was max
The
or
old special
0.
attack. That's right, yeah. 50% of your special attack bar, max it or a 0. That didn't last long.
Yeah.
I didn't last long. Can you remember the old magic training method?
I don't know. You have to tell
Oh
me.
yeah. Well, back in just a random thought really, but
Yeah.
back in 2004, and I think it was 2005, I can't remember when they changed it, but all of the rich players would get 99 magic in literally like 5 hours if they had the money, and that was by the charge spell. The charge spell had no cooldown,
Oh,
so you could
really?
spam it. You could click it.
Jesus.
As fast as you clicked it, you would get the experience if you had the runes.
Okay, that's a little busted.
and I'm pretty sure that's how Zezima got 99 magic. I could be wrong, but I
Wow.
think that's how we got 99 magic back in the day. Spam charge.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about a new skill coming into
Wait,
old
wait.
school. Yeah, go for it.
Wait. Before we continue, I am very comfortable right now, but I will say for the first half an hour, I was warming up on this podcast, baby. I was really anxious telling my history and my childhood, so I want to apologize. I was really struggling to get my stories out and form them properly, but I'm all good now. But I was so anxious at the start, man. I thought I'd just admit that and say that.
Oh, no, it was great.
I was warming up, man, but I'm
It-
okay now.
It's definitely different vibes, and those can definitely like affect the mood
Yeah.
of the conversation for sure. But
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
glad we got that out.
I knew I wanted to talk about my childhood, but I always struggle with that. But yeah, carry on.
I think it's just dwelling on that for another second is just I think a lot of people do have their own childhood trauma and things that they've had to deal with. And so hearing that, where a lot of the time we kind of, I don't know, put it away.
I can never explain my childhood in a very neat way. I struggle.
Yeah.
It's topsy-turvy when I try and explain it. So I apologize, everybody, for that. It was probably a little bit messy the way I explained it, but I tried. But yeah, carry on, baby.
I want to ask you about a new skill coming into old school, if you're in favor, or what just your thoughts are on it in general, and what you would like to see maybe as a new skill.
No.
No, thank you.
I love that.
No, just no.
Really?
No, bro.
So why?
Let's
hear it.
You know what? This is called old school RuneScape, and there's not many things keeping it old. Like, there's not many reasons to keep it old school these days. There's only a few left, and one of the few things left is level 126 combat and Hunter being the end skill. I just think it would taint the game if there was a new skill, man. It would just be going down the road of it. It'd just be going down the road of it being a new era or something like that, man. It's hard to explain, but
that's fair.
I just like Hunter being the end, bro. Do you think to yourself, baby, wow, old school really needs a new skill? We need it. Do you think that?
I am not one person that thinks we need it. I personally think it would actually do good for the game, though.
Okay, that's fair enough. Honestly, there's plenty of room for ideas and good ideas for there to be a new skill in the game. Definitely, bro. There could be a new skill that comes with the game, and it could be amazing for sure. But it's just one thing that I don't really want. I could happily live without one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know I haven't got many good reasons, but I don't know.
There is definitely reasons for and against it. I think part of my bias actually comes from me being so late game and just wanting a refresher without having to, remake an account or try something different, like on a different account. Like I love constant progression on one account, but I think a new skill, there would be consequences to it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not thinking it's all butterflies and rainbows having it, but I do think
it's a controversial topic, baby.
Yeah.
The community is 50-50 on this topic.
Yep.
It's controversial, and there's a lot of people that don't want a new skill. There's a lot of people that do. Put it this way: if we did eventually get a new skill in the game, I wouldn't be salty about it. I'd take it on the chin. I'd still play. I'd still love the game. But my answer is no. I don't want a new skill, regardless of what it is. I just like the game. I just like the skill panel in its pure state.
2277, 126.
Yes. Yes.
That's totally
fair. When
do
we stop calling the game old school?
It's already beyond old school. I mean, to be fair.
Yeah.
So here is a little bit of reasoning that I get excited about a new skill, is because first of all, the old school team is big now, and maybe it doesn't appear as big because we barely get updates. It seems as though, but there is a lot of things in the works, and Raids 3 is one of them. And seeing screenshots of those rooms and things, like,
they look beautiful.
Yes, and I think they're starting to. Okay, so let me just say right now, if there was to be a skill added, a brand new skill added back in 2017, that would have been a shit show. It would have completely fucked the game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
like look at the updates we got. We got rooftop agility. That was like one of the grandest things ever. It's just literally clicking a click box to the next. It's like, oh my God. So yeah, I think the longer we delay a new skill, I think it'll actually be a better scenario, because
I
the team
agree.
understands it's fun.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Balancing can go a longer way as well. And
true.
But,
yeah, back then it was a bit more of a volatile stage of the game, wasn't it?
Yes, very.
Yeah.
I mean, you just look at the update. Like, do you remember Winter Todd release? I know you did grind that to 200 mil, but did you play it on release initially?
I think no, not straight away. I never play new content straight away, just because I'm pretty fucking dumb. I wouldn't have a clue what I'm doing. It'd be very embarrassing. I'm not really I'm not really a fast learner, baby. I have to learn from others to be able to do things. I'm not an innovator. I'm not afraid to admit that. So whenever new content comes out, like Raid 3, etc., I'm not going to jump into that. It'd be a shit show, man. So no, I leave it like a week or two. If I want to start some new content, I'll see what all of the great players are doing. Now they're doing it, then I'll try it myself.
We have seen incredible updates that are they're simple updates relatively when you think of Guardians of the Rift and Temperos and things like these are great mini games. They really are. But when you look back at, back in 2016 when Wintertod was released, it's like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is horrible. like it's fine, I guess, for the time period, but it's not great. We just
it's not really an intricate mini game, is it really? But yeah. I liked it. I liked Wintertod. It's better than fucking using a tinderbox on a log outside of or whatever.
But you just see it as a very simplistic design that could have had so many quality of life to it. Like just
I agree. But it shows the progression of the old school team. And might I add, I think they're doing a fantastic job with the content that we've seen in the last year. Fantastic, man. Guardians of the Rift. And I could go on, but it's just been great, man. I'm a big fan of Guardians of the Rift. I think they nailed it with that, man.
They did.
And another thing, I don't know about you, baby, an update that I've been asking for years, for over half a decade, the max hit splat. I have wanted that in the game since 2014, 15. I remember I tweet the Jagex every now and then, put a gold trim around the max hit. Put a gold trim around the max hit. I'd tell him like every couple of times a year.
It's so good, dude.
It's one of my favorite updates. I'll say it clear.
It's good.
It's such a subtle thing, but such a huge impact to PVM, to PK, and to content and whatnot.
It's just like a little bit extra dopamine that goes a long way. It's like
it's more of an oomph,
Yeah. I did a max claw spec, and you get 4 of them. Just
bang.
Disgusting. It's like you squirted mustard all over it.
It's just more dopamine, bro. And they did a great job. They did a great job with the max hit because
it feels good.
It's still old school. It still feels old school. I could picture that being in 2006 if that was the idea back then.
Yep.
I could. It just looks old school. It's still the regular max hit. It's still the regular blood splat with a little gold trim around it, and it's a bit more beefy.
Yep.
It's great.
So let me ask you this now that you address that. Is there another update you would like to see, or is there something that's been on your mind for a while that you would love to see in this game? Let me hear it.
So when I was at TwitchCon Amsterdam, great time by the way, I had some nice quality time with Modiza, aka Ben, a dear friend of mine. I love Ben dearly. And I basically said to Ben my concerns with the thieving skill. Thieving is my most hated skill, purely because no matter what method you do, you're spam clicking all the time. In my opinion, there's no real charming way to train thieving. You do pyramid plunder, you're spam clicking on jars. You do pickpocketing, you're spam clicking on NPCs. We need a thieving minigame. And I know we've got pyramid plunder as a thieving minigame, but it's just a spam click fest.
Yep, it's old.
And to be fair, and it's old. It's like 17 years old. I think the next skill that needs attention is thieving because there is no charming method to train it.
I completely agree.
I said to Aiza, I think the minigame things we've been doing has been fantastic for the game. And I would love to see a thieving minigame. And he kind of got my point when I told him the only methods we can train thieving, really.
Yeah, like they've tried to give tiny little mini games to thieving. Like one of them is the artifacts in Zaya, but that's so bad. Like it's so bad.
Literally, there's no like laid back or fun way to train it. It's stale. It's very stale.
Here's a cool thing, and this is what I've kind of talked about. There's gathering skills, and then there's buyables in the traditional sense. Now for Ironman, buyables are not quite buyables, but then you have agility and thieving, which don't really have a category. They're just there. And agility with Sepulcher, I don't know if you've touched Sepulcher yet.
I've never touched it, but the plan is to do it when I get 93. Well, I'm just going to do rooftops till 93. Get lots of staminas.
That's fair.
In general, then I'll try it. But I want that ring of endurance.
Oh yeah, it's brutal learning. Don't get me wrong, but when you start just doing it a little bit more, you start getting really comfortable with it, and it is so fun. And thieving, I'm not gonna lie, they could come out with something what I want to see with a new thieving update that makes thieving enjoyable is something that's challenging and extremely rewarding.
Engaging, something
Yes.
engaging. Do you know, I honestly think mini games are, for skilling, is fantastic. It brings everyone together. It makes the game feel more MMO.
Yep.
I think mini games are amazing for the game. Amazing, bro.
And the craziest thing is I used to disagree with that. Back
Really?
when,
How come?
well, because the only examples of mini games were like Winter Todd and Volcanic Mine and like little
Yeah.
just things that weren't good, and they dominate. Like Winter Todd, of course, is a weird example because fire making really was already a pointless skill, but dominating the scene. What they've done very well is with Temperos and Guardians of the Rift is there's still a reason to do traditional skilling, and you actually get buffs from it. You know, you get the fishing barrel and you get the outfit and all that. It's awesome.
I think Guardians of the Rift, the fishing barrel is so OP, isn't it? Oh my god, you just doubled your inventory space for just one item. It is crazy. But I'm not complaining. I'm not
either. It's good.
No, I'm not complaining.
I think it's cool. I think it's a... I mean, to be honest, Karam ones are very busted now, but they're still good, though. It's still good.
Like 5 minutes of AFK, isn't it? It's great. I'm not complaining, man.
Yeah.
Great Netflix skill.
There definitely is, and again, I think it comes with age. I think initially in younger 20s, we get very passionate. We get very like pigeonholed into our beliefs of like for example, I was very much, I hate AFK back like 5 years ago. And now I can definitely appreciate it a lot more when my entire life is not log into RuneScape and play all day. Like, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, I hear that, bro. When it comes to AFK, I'm not going to lie. It's always going to be my most appealing way to play this game. Because, you know, when I first started this game, what appealed to me most is that people can click on a tree and just forget about the game. Just watch your player. Because I've got such a laid-back personality, man. I've always liked AFKing in this game, man. It's what appealed to me, because before RuneScape, I came from games like GoldenEye on Nintendo 64, you know, fast-paced games and whatnot. And just to finally bump into a game where it's relaxing and you can chill out, you know, and switch off for a bit. AFK has always been like something that's I don't know, just a preferred way of playing more time.
Yep. Now,
whenever I'm not streaming, I'm doing something AFK.
Yeah.
Just slowly training on something.
I have a question. Did you play much in like pre-EOC, like between 2008 and 2012-ish?
Nope. No, I did not play from 2007 to 2013. So all I really know is the old times.
Okay. You're on my page then.
I'm a genuine old school player, bro. All I know is the RS2 graphics before the 08 update to HD.
Well, I guess my questions are irrelevant then, because I always do like to
I
pick
wouldn't know
the
what
brain.
you're talking about.
Yeah, no, I mean, same here. I know a little bit because I've I've had conversations with a lot of individuals that did play back then. They give me ideas. In fact, a lot of the ideas nowadays that I come up with or just like think is like, oh, this is original. It's like RS3 already has it. I'm like, damn it. Like,
yeah, I know. But I know nothing about what happened in the game after 2007. Nothing at all. I haven't got a clue.
Yep.
The only thing that I'm aware of from that game that I wanted in old school RuneScape was the max hit splat. I just remember seeing that on YouTube videos already.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. That like orange rectangle.
Yeah, I was saying this in my stream last night, talking about how like progressive RS3 is, where they can just do whatever they want. They can make updates, they can try new things. Some of the time it completely fails. A lot of the time the direction's not great, like microtransactions and stuff, but they do feel like a more freeing game, and I've never played it. I literally have never played RS3 once.
I have nothing against the game, you know, nothing at all, but so long as old school RuneScape's around, I'd rather play this because it's just what I'm familiar with at the end of the day.
Yeah, there's definitely perks to this game. One of them is just the very charming nature of the tick system and they're not trying to hide anything. The thing with RS3 is they really try to make it look like a modern MMO. They try very hard to make it seem like the tick system's not there. But with RS or with OSRS, we just embrace it, and I think that's a lot nicer.
I don't know. Whenever I see RS3, it just looks like a mobile game.
It does. They try
I
so
don't
hard to
know,
make
like
it
a pay
modern
to win
looking.
mobile game. It just looks like a cheap mobile game, man. I'm sorry.
I wish they had
And
just kept like,
yeah. And the graphics look a bit like Fortnite. I'm sorry to say.
yeah,
I just think of
it's
Fortnite when I see the graphics and the player models.
yep. I swear to God, they must have some sort of research team that's like, oh, this is what people want to see. You know, this kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's strange. I love traditional OSRS. Like these player models that we have right now in game, were my
Yes.
absolute favorite. Traditional
Oh
haircuts,
yeah.
the little spiky.
Yep. Absolutely, man.
You
It's
know what?
still got its, even though the game's nearly 10 years old, it's still got all the fundamental
Yeah.
charming aspects of back in the day.
They've even done a few updates where they reverted graphics. You remember more than I do because they
Did
had
they?
the rocks.
Oh
The
yeah, of course they did.
rocks were
Yeah, yeah.
changed back to the
That's
traditional
right.
set. And I thought that
Yes.
was a cool
Big
little
fan.
change.
Big fan of stuff like that. Absolutely. Some things should never be reverted back, like demons and dragons. Holy shit. They looked so bad back in the day.
See, you know what's funny is well, I have had a problem. I don't think about it much anymore, but I always had a problem with the Varrock guards. I thought they looked too modern.
Oh, no. Honestly, I wish Falador and Varrock reverted back to the 2005 times.
Yep.
It looked so much more appealing, in my opinion.
Yep. The Varrock ones, they look like a different race. I mean, they're like not
Yes.
even humans. They're like these weird,
Yeah.
like very I don't know. They're not clunky like all of us are.
No.
Like they're very smooth, and I'm like, this is
Yes.
strange.
No. They move too smoothly, don't they? They're not jagged and low FPS moving.
They're like
and,
aliens,
no, I'm
dude.
so with you. I'm so with you. And I also miss the old school bricks that Varrock had.
Yes.
Oh, them great pixelated bricks they had.
Dude, the Fisher's Realm is the perfect. Like,
Yes.
it's so old school. That place has just barely been touched. Barely. There's a few things they've changed, but
I think Yanil hasn't been touched either. I could be wrong.
Yanil looks pretty
What
good
did
too. I think they've made a few
they?
optimizations, but for the most part, Yanil's pretty old
Yeah.
school, yeah.
But no, let's start a movement, baby. Revert the cities back to how they used to look. We'll start a movement,
So
man.
down. I'm so down. I love when you zoom up at a door and it doesn't just look like a more just one shade of brown. It's like
Yeah.
you zoom in, you see the individual pixels of just
Oh
this
yeah, it's just
clunky,
squares everywhere.
medieval looking 2002 looking door.
I miss the old Varrock fountain too.
Yep.
I missed
I
that.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool that we just have so many memories with this game, and we can.
We could go on and on for hours and hours and hours, bro, because I've lived through it and I'm so passionate about the history. Always have been. That's why I started the 2005 mode for a bit. But I'm so passionate. When I'm streaming, every now and then we'll be talking about the old days, reminiscing. It's a very special time in our lives,
Yeah.
especially when you were younger and the imagination is just much more broader, and deeper. RuneScape just felt so different back then.
Okay, I want to ask you. Well, I guess we've already kind of covered the questions I wanted to ask. There was one other particular one, but I guess it was more like carrying off, because I actually thought you were into a new skill, but the fact that
No.
you're not, I did have a couple follow-up questions for that, because there are a lot of skill. Well, here, let me ask you this.
Go on.
Because you're not a big fan of a new skill coming out, if there
Yeah.
were to be a skill
Mm.
out of the ones that have kind of been suggested in the past, for example, artisan, dungeoneering, sailing, things like that, is there one that you would prefer to come out, or is it just kind of like just no?
Nah. Yeah, it's just
I
because
figured it was
because
a
I'm.
mute point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a very blunt opinion of mine. I've not even cared to look into it or anything. I just think of new skill and I'm like, nope. It's just one of them. It's just one of them ideas and updates where I've never been for it, man. Just as simple as that.
Okay.
We'll get along fine with the game without a new skill. That's just the way I see it, and I just want the skill panel to look the way it is. I think her new skill right next to Hunter and the total level not being 2277 would just be so alien.
It would. You know what was very alien? I want to actually ask if you remember this.
Yeah.
So the skills panel, like the little thing where you see all your 23 skills, they made an
Yeah.
update probably 5 or 6 years ago where they actually added a pixel in between every layer. Like every new row, they
Yes,
added an additional pixel.
they made them more spaced out and
Yes,
symmetrical.
and
I remember.
and it hurt my eyes so bad.
It took a while to get used to it, didn't it? I remember.
It was awful. I actually
Yeah.
hated that update. It would just like it would burn my eyes looking at the skills. I'm like, everything's too spaced out. Like,
Yeah,
it was
I remember.
so minimal too. But it's
It took me a while, yeah. Whereas before everything was a bit more compressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all you have to do is look at a 2005 RuneScape screenshot, and you'll know what I mean. Everything's a bit more pressed together.
Yep. Okay. My last question, and then I want to kind of get back into just your own life. And I asked this last podcast, do you have any plans for YouTube?
No, I guess I can go into that really, but I've just never really had the passion. I don't sit down after a stream and think, man, I'd love to make a video. I just don't have the fire or the desire really. Sure, I'll release like a YouTube video once a year or something if it's something niche like my apartment. I got my friend to come and film that, etc. Or maybe a random adventure. I might film it and put it on YouTube. But this is like once a year type of thing. But YouTube, on the other hand, honestly, bro, my energy is precious, baby, and I don't really have I have a lot of energy, bro, but it's in concentrated modes. And after I finish my stream, I just want to chill out for a bit. All of the energy that I have, I just want to put it into streaming, my whole heart, my whole energy and mind into it. That's all I really care about.
That's fair.
I don't really have the personality for YouTube either, man. I don't really have it.
I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, I'm gonna push a little bit harder this time.
Go on.
Is I really, really do think you would have a successful YouTube channel if all it was something you truly wanted, which was, who knows? Again, these are just my own things because I just think you'll actually enjoy it. First of all, you're a very well-spoken individual. One of the most well-spoken that I've had the pleasure of talking to. Something about British people. It's something about Europeans. They're just way more well-spoken than Americans.
Well, I'll tell you something, actually. It's quite funny. We've never really discussed my accent. It's kind of irrelevant, to be fair. But I'm from Nottingham, Bae, and the people that live here speak very different to the way I do. In where I'm from in Nottingham, Bae, the way you pronounce very, in Nottingham, they say vera. Maybe is maybe. We have an eh on the end of our sentences, but I don't speak that way. And to this day, I don't know why. I'm very
and you
well-spoken.
grew up with it, like
I grew up in poverty. I grew up in dirt, shadows, and abuse, and I was surrounded by it. But I never picked up the accent. I've always had my own accent. I've always spoken quite clear. I would never say well-spoken because there's so many people that are much better spoken than I, but I'm well-spoken for a Nottinghamshire lad. Very well-spoken. Whenever I go into town, I've lived in Nottingham all my life, and I get in conversation with someone, who I don't know. They'll be like, where are you from? You don't sound local. I'm like, I've lived here all my life. But yeah, I don't speak like I'm from Nottingham. Very well-spoken for this area.
Well, I have heard.
Don't know why.
And I agree with the sentiment that you are one of the most chill, laid-back streamers. You just pop in your stream. Doesn't even matter what you're doing in the game. You just relax to the vibes and the music. And I'm just saying, man, a few recorded videos for those that miss your stream, and it doesn't have to be any editing whatsoever. It's just you record, you talk about how you're enjoying the game, you talk about a grind, you show off your bank, just do anything. I swear you would get some passive growth. And the best part is that you're already a full-time streamer, and so YouTube just becomes a secondary project you do whenever. And I would personally, and I said this last year, I want to see some rig content on YouTube. I want to see some uploads. That's just me.
And I guess it would be very beneficial because the channels grow from each other. People get on YouTube, they see you've got a Twitch, they follow. The people that go on Twitch, they follow, and they see you've got a YouTube, and it just pings back and forth.
It is crazy, and that's just why I want to keep pushing it, because I just think like you are perfect for it, and it's so simple. It takes barely any energy.
I'm not really a tech savvy person though, baby. I'm not good with editing or anything like that. I have no idea how to do it.
I will. I mean, that's the other thing. First of all, I'm gonna say there's no editing required. It's OBS, record,
Yeah.
talk, say what's on your mind, end it, upload it, done. Add a little thumbnail if you want. But all I know is if I see a rig upload that's rambling, like you just talking about stuff, I'm listening to the whole thing and I'm just gonna fucking lay back and just enjoy.
Yeah, if I ever did do YouTube, it would be very, very raw. Just like, my personality, everything's raw basically. There'd be no heavy updates and talented things like Guns Chili. I could never get to that level, but no, it would all be very, very raw footage. But now that you think about it, videos of me rambling about my goals and my life, maybe one day, maybe, but not right now.
Okay. Well, I will keep pushing because I just want it so bad, and I'm gonna keep pushing. But it's just something I'd like to encourage a lot of people, but especially you, because I can absolutely see a lot of. First of all, it's not only for us, but I think there's a lot of enjoyment and fulfillment from having a secondary project that's just you see the number go up. It doesn't matter either how fast it goes up. It's just a little project and it's just fun.
I'm a very sensitive person though, bro, and YouTube at the end of the day, I'm afraid that it would be another thing that like knocks off my wave that I'm on right now, baby. Okay. Anything can happen with me. I have 2 disorders at the end of the day. I have to be very careful with what I do in life and what I introduce into my life. I know it sounds rather silly, but it's just another thing that I have to focus on, fair. And I have to be very careful, very, very careful. Otherwise, it could just add stress to me. And I'm just mentally very fragile. I can be. Right now, I feel like indestructible. I have been since I've been living here, but I have to be careful still.
So let me ask you now. I want to give the spotlight to you again of just life now this year. What are your goals in life? I'll have future questions in a bit about where you'd like to be in a few years, but just. Where you're at in life, I guess, and what you look forward to in the coming years.
So I moved into this apartment after all of the shit show that happened. I moved in here I moved here in March of this year, and I will say it plainly that I have been in bliss ever since I've lived here, baby. Before I lived here, I was depressed constantly. It was just in the back of my mind all the time. I'm sad. I don't like where I live. I don't have the strength to move out. But here, I haven't been depressed since I've been here. I've been mentally free the whole time. I've been thriving. It's the best move I've ever made in my life. And I honestly feel like I'm the best version of myself. I wake up every day. I'm motivated. Before, baby, I'd wake up in my old house. I'd be in bed all day. I'd stream, go back to bed. When I start my day now, I wake up. I see the white walls, the natural light. I get up, I check my plants, I make coffee. I go straight on RuneScape because I'm motivated, and I'm feeling great about my life. And yeah, bro, it's just so good. I just don't know what depression is anymore. I'm an honest person. I'm an honest person. If something's affecting me, I'm gonna say it. But right now, bro, I feel so lucky to feel the way I do. That I'm in this lovely little apartment, bro. Even if I won £1 million, I've never been that dude that's wanted mansions and fast cars. I've always wanted just a little apartment. Because I'm a minimalist, you see. I've always wanted a nice little home, preferably on the top floor, which I am, thankfully, around people, just to feel safe. And yeah, I have so much fire. The furnace is roaring again, and I'm on top of the world. I end my stream and I can't wait for the next stream for the next day. I'm streaming more than ever. I'm streaming more consistent than ever. I barely miss a day. Before it was 5 hours max. Then I'd go back to bed. Yesterday I did like 7 hours and 20 minutes, which was unheard of before. I'm constantly doing like 6-7 hour streams and yeah, man, I just want to say to all of the people that are going through something right now, try and find the courage to change, man. Because sometimes in life you might be, in a deep and dark situation, but it won't change until you change.
So I want to ask about, I guess, I don't know. Let me hear your thoughts on it. The social aspect of life, because as a content creator, I've been one for now over 3.5 years. That is the one avenue of my life that has been severely lacking compared to previous years.
Right.
And
Well, one
so-
thing I want to add too, you did say, I forgot to say this, but you said, where do I see myself in like 3 years?
Yeah.
Bae Bae, I'm content with life. I'm in my dream apartment, and in 3 years' time, the way I feel right now, I hope I'm doing exactly what I'm doing right now. I don't ask for much. I just want to stream and build my community and meet new people in the game, encourage people, and be a good sport, man. I just want to. I honestly would love to stream RuneScape till the end. I would, until the tires fall off. I wanna do this forever, bro. I feel fulfilled,
Isn't that
fulfilling.
Isn't that like an interesting thought, that streaming, like live streaming and being a content creator on the internet, is such a new thing that
Yeah.
when does it end, or does it? Can you be a 60-year-old streaming?
Yeah, I hear that. I
No,
mean,
but I genuinely wonder, because we don't know. Like,
Yeah. we don't know, bro. But at the end of the day, I'm just a person that takes it one day at a time. I do. I take it one day at a time, and I think right now Twitch is going nowhere. It's doing nothing but growing and getting more popular. So right now we're doing all right, man. But no, who would not want to do this? We're just living the dream, aren't we?
yeah, yeah,
We're living the dream, and I hope we don't wake up.
yeah. It's a good feeling. I want to ask you a little bit about the social aspect. Do you feel like it lacks,
sorry.
or are you content with being more in, I guess, solitude? I guess, because I don't know what you do with the rest of your life besides your stream, because that's your private business. But I am curious.
So I will say, I don't think we covered this on the last stream, but I am a massive introvert, baby. I love being by myself. I love being with other people, don't get me wrong, but not for too long. I'm actually content being by myself fully, especially in my new apartment. I've made this apartment a physical antidepressant, if you catch my drift. The look of this apartment, and I encourage you to watch my video after the stream, baby, just so you know where I'm living right now.
Yeah.
All of my furniture and the way I have it. But I have made it an antidepressant. The sheer look of my apartment makes me happy because it's me, it's my style. But when it comes to socializing, I do socialize. I don't really have all that many friends in Nottingham because I had quite a deep and violent history when I was in my early 20s. Not really to be mentioned or go deep into, but yeah, I lived a different life when I was younger in my darker stages. But I've cut contact with many people from the old times. The only friends I really have now is honestly my streamer friends. You know, I'm thankful that Boti is one of my friends, and we're like once a month or once every 2 months he'll invite me up to Manchester and we'll go out for a meal with Torvesta and some other people. So every now and then I'll go out for a meal. But apart from that, bro, the only thing I'm doing is streaming and doing my own thing. Yeah. My friend circle is a dot, is what I like to say.
A dot.
A dot, and I'm content with that, bro. Very
fair.
content. I've never been a person that wants lots of friends, just because if I have lots of friends, it's hard to get to know them all one by one and know really what their true intentions are and what kind of person they are. I think with friends, less is more.
I agree.
Especially with the shit and abuse I've been through about my life. I don't trust people. Obviously, I have trust issues, but it's the way it goes at the end of the day with the experiences I've had.
Yeah, I guess I think me and you are very similar in a way. I can be if
What about you?
Well,
what about you? Let's talk about you, man.
Well, the reason
about
I asked you is simply because I feel like there is something lacking in my life, which is the social aspect. And
Yeah.
I've been this year, luckily, thanks to probably age and, I did hear your story about your bad
Mm.
experience with, I think, an edible, or you smoked weed one time and it was
I
awful.
did, yeah. I smoked weed, and it was my first time smoking it in Amsterdam, and I thought it was dreadful.
I'm so sorry.
It's not for everyone.
It's
Yeah, I
not.
thought
It's
I'd
not.
try
And
it.
and I will say, I mean, the first time I tried it, it was awful as well. I actually didn't do it again for
Yeah.
like half a year. But
No, I'm not really. I'm not really one to. You see, weed is something that chills you out. I'm already chilled as can be, so it was
yeah,
like an overdrive for me.
yeah, that's fair.
I d-
And I'm not by any means I'm not promoting drug use
no,
of any sort. But I will
yeah,
say, because of my mind being opened in a sort of sense, this
yeah.
year has been, and a lot of it has to do with age as well, just getting older and understanding your priorities in
Mm-hmm.
life. But I've
Yeah,
definitely had a really good year this year, and I'm looking to
brilliant.
improve in any way I can.
Why?
And
Why
yeah,
have you had a good year? Tell me.
honestly, physical health. That's all. That's really what it came down to. I was last December, I had weighed myself, and of course, it was near the holidays where you're just
Mhm.
eating just shit.
Yeah.
And I just remember looking at the scale, and I was like 183, which was the heaviest I had ever been. Which what
Yeah.
it's not heavy. Like I'm 5'11", so it's not
Okay.
like
Yeah.
it's nothing. I was on the verge of overweight,
Yeah.
and I realized I wasn't happy. I'd wake up and I would just be like, I can't find the motivation to do something with my body, move.
So have you been working out, improving your diet, or what's been going on?
Yeah, the biggest thing was just eating less and going on daily walks, which has been my new thing,
Yeah.
is just daily walks every single day. And that
Yeah.
has drastically improved my mental health and just physical
Excellent.
confidence.
So what's your weight right now?
153. I've lost 30 pounds.
Excellent. That's a lot of weight, baby. Fuck yes, brother.
Yeah.
A lot of weight shedded. Fuck yes, man. I want all of you guys to clap right now. As soon as you hear this, clap for him, okay?
Please
I
clap.
don't I don't think we've discussed my health and how I take care of myself, right? Have we? Have
Let's
I?
hear it. Let's hear it.
Yeah, well, for one thing, I will get this out of the way. I do vape. Yeah, it's
Yep.
the one thing I do that's really bad for me. But my whole life, I have never abused substances. I have never drank alcohol. Never will. Completely teetotal in that regard. I shadow box every single day for a good 15 to 20 minutes, usually in the morning before I turn on my PC, which is a great cardio workout. I am actually incredibly fit cardio wise. I can walk up steep hills, speed walk up them, and I won't run out of breath. And I'm also wanting to advance it even more. There's a leisure center down the road from me, so I want to start swimming twice or three times a week, which is great for the body, baby. Like
Oh, yeah.
incredibly good. When
Oh,
I used
yeah.
to when I used to box back in the day, I used to swim a lot, and it's just an incredible workout, and it doesn't put any stress on the joints.
Yeah, it's incredible. I wish I had a pool or a beach or something.
Yes,
I just
it's
don't.
incredible. Works out every muscle in the body.
Yep.
Maybe there's a swimming pool near around you. Hey, like a leisure center type of place.
There probably is, to be honest. Now that
Yeah.
I think, because I mean, just for so long it had been COVID, a lot of places had been
Yeah.
closed. Even the pool we have at our apartment was, I think it's still closed actually to this day because it's just
Yeah.
run down. But I,
They-
yeah, no, swimming would be great, but the walking's just been such an easy thing for me that's very
Yes.
consistent.
You can just go out the door and do it.
Yep.
You know, it's just so accessible. But the food that I eat, you know, my diet is actually pretty interesting. I love my pastries and all of that type of shit, but I always make sure that what I'm eating, I know pretty much what I'm eating. I don't really eat synthetic foods. For example, like Oreo cookies, where you eat it and you don't really know what it is.
Processed.
Yes. The meats that I eat, they're all low fat, like steak mince and stuff like that. Organic chickens. Yeah, I'm really big into looking after myself more time. I have my multivitamins every day, and they've definitely made a difference. Cod liver oil, vitamin D3, 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, because obviously I'm an introvert. Vitamin C is really important for me. Take them every single day without fail. Yakult for my gut health. Yeah, I look after myself, man, and so we should.
That's the best thing because I always look at I look at life in a different way. I used to just live in the, I don't know. I thought I would just be young forever. Back when I was like 22, I thought I was going to be young forever, just like 20s forever. And then I started thinking, oh, I actually will be an old man at one point. And I've said this with multiple guests, is like, I really care about being not being overweight and just having aches and pains when I'm an adult, like when I'm an old man.
So when you were young and you said you felt like you would be young forever, did that mean you like slacked with things, or?
Oh yeah.
What do you mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, I couldn't see past a few years. I really couldn't. It was tough for me to even imagine myself hitting 30. It was like impossible, basically.
I've always said this quote every now and then to my viewers, when someone comes into my stream and they're pretty young, 'cause I'm getting kind of on now, and they're like, hey, Rig, do you have any advice? I'll ask them how old they are. And if they say like around early 20s, I'll be like, don't use your young age as an excuse to slack. When I was that age, I was the same. I'd be like 21 and I'd be like, that can wait till later. I'm 21. I've got all the time in the world. Yep. Never, ever, ever slack because you're young. You want to get things done as young as possible. Always try your best.
It's so hard to ingrain that when you are that age, though. It's so easy to say it. It's so easy to just be like, can't you just see like how I see the world? If it's just because I see my little brother that I live with. He's 21.
Yeah,
and he sees life in a different way, and I've had many deep conversations with him just about anything. And I just remember I remember when I was 21, I just looked at the world differently. It was different.
When we're young, we certainly take time for granted. We feel like we have infinite times because we have youth on our side, and you can't imagine being older because he's so young. And we're so arrogant when we're young. And we have to understand that the second hand is ticking constantly, no matter what, and there's nothing you can do. We're traveling through time, and it's inevitable. So you need to get stuff done. But we have to find that balance, baby. We have to encourage ourselves to be productive. But I honestly think doing nothing for a day is just as important as being productive. It's okay to have a day where you do nothing. We're human beings. We have to switch off. Yep. Doing nothing is just as important as doing something. It's okay to have a day where you just want to sit down and watch TV, have a cup of tea, and then just switch off.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's another thing I've kind of realized the older I get is the reality that I'm a human being. I'm not like I don't know. That's a weird thing to wrap your head around when you get older, is just realizing like you're like an evolved primate. You know what I mean? Like you're just a human. Like you need food, you need water, you need air. Like you
do.
You're not just a robot, and you're gonna die one day, which is just a crazy thought.
It's a crazy thought, but I never think about that. Of course, it's gonna happen one day, but I never dwell on that thought. Never.
I think about it, but I don't. I'm a person that hasn't dealt with a really dark, depression. Now, of course, I'm a human, so I've definitely had loneliness and things like that. But I have not experienced what you've experienced, and many others have.
Yeah.
Of a truly dark
hellfire
time. Yeah. Which I'm very grateful for, but I also lack the the being able to help somebody else in that situation, where you would be a lot more beneficial for a person like that. I wouldn't quite.
Because of my past and my childhood, I had to spend a lot of time fixing myself. Yep. A lot of time working. But at 31 years old, baby, I can confidently say that I'm in the prime right now, even though physically I might not be anymore. But mentally and spiritually, I'm in my prime. I know what I'm here to do. I know what my purpose is, and that's to stream for old school RuneScape. And I like who I am now. I genuinely like who I am.
I love it. Okay. We don't have any more topics, and I have just a couple more things to add, but if you don't have anything else, we can kind of wrap it up here. We're almost at the 3-hour mark. You let me know.
What? Anything else to talk about?
Yeah. Anything else that's on your mind before I ask the final thoughts?
Not
I guess,
really.
too?
I think I've honestly said my piece, but no, I'm a man that lives in the present, really. And honestly, I just want to keep on doing what I'm doing, and that's just spreading positivity, having a good time, having banter, and just getting the gains on RuneScape, bro. That's it. Just living it day at a time, man. Because right now I'm at my peak, and I've got this fire, bro. So I've got to keep on working on keeping that furnace burning.
I've really appreciated this conversation, but I want to ask now for 3 shout outs from you, and it can be anyone in the community, people that have
Anybody in the community,
anybody in the community, and
just 3.
if
Oh man.
if you feel the need to add a few more, feel free. But yeah, 3 is what I like to ask.
Could I do more than 3 if that's okay?
Absolutely.
I
Just
think
not
3 is
not like 15 or anything, you know. Keep it
no,
just a
no,
few
no,
more.
no.
Yeah.
Of course, but I think 3 is so cruel just because I have love for so many people.
Go
But
for it. Go for it. I'd love to
first,
hear.
just give me a few seconds, because Jesus Christ, I know so many people in the community.
I
I think
I put this on you on the spot just for those listening. He has no premeditation for this question. I just asked him
yeah,
that, so.
yeah, Jesus, you caught me off guard right here. I think first of all, I think the person I appreciate most is Alkin. I've been friends with Alkin for
Lovely man.
many, many years, and no one owes me anything, and I don't owe anyone anything, but Elkin's always hosted me. Whenever he goes offline at 6 in the morning my time, he'll normally just fire me a host without fail. And yeah, our communities are pretty much unified now. And I appreciate Elkin so much for the help, and especially helping me with raids. Secondly, Jesus Christ, this is so hard. Because what if I miss somebody out?
There will always be people.
Gosh,
That's why
baby. I
I like to
know.
really explain it. It's just like it's not the top 3 or anything, just 3 that you feel
Yeah.
like deserve it. But yeah, go for it.
It's just 3 that come to mind, and probably a little bit more. But
Yeah.
secondly, I want to give a shout out to Zoe Pancakes. She is a bundle of joy. I met her in Amsterdam, and that was a wonderful time. We went out for a lovely dinner, me and her. We had an Indian. We went away from the crowd, and it was just me and her, and it was a great time. And I think she's such an amazing person. She's around 24 years old, but she is years ahead mentally, as a person, so developed for her age. And I'm very proud of the player she's become. Inferno Cabe, you know, in the past year, she's improved so much as a player, and she has so much potential. And I remember watching her in the early days when she was on like 30, 40 viewers, and I knew that she'd be an established player one day. So yeah, my love and my respect to Zozo. Thirdly, it's got to be Hey Jace. Not to say Hey Jace has the bronze medal. I'm just basically naming out people that come to mind. But Hey Jace, purely because I think he is a beacon in the community as a player. Ranked 2 overall, but so humble, not a bad bone in his body. And again, someone that helped me a lot back in the day. He would encourage me a lot. I don't think we're as close as we used to be, me and Jace. We used to be really tight back in the day, but I will still always love him. He helped me out a lot back in the day with certain complex things. He would host me a lot. And yeah, I think Hey Jace was definitely one of them players that inspired me to become a more nice person and more in control of my thoughts. Thirdly, wait, am I in the 3rd or the 4th now?
4th.
No, 4th. Yeah, 4th. Yeah. Fuck, man. 4th. I'll leave it there.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's
I'm
so-
sorry to the
that-
people I missed out.
Yeah,
I know
that
there's
there-
so many people pissed off now. I'm sorry.
Somebody
I'm
was
just
waiting for
literally-
like, I'm gonna be number 4. I'm gonna be.
I know. Fuck, man.
Now that's
Jesus
why.
Christ.
That's why you gotta. Everybody that's mad, you blame it on me because I'm the one that said.
Yeah.
3. It's
man.
it's not Rig's fault.
I'll leave it there.
Rig, I have had a phenomenal time this evening talking to you, and I knew it would be. I will say, last year when I had you on the podcast, I was nervous as shit. You want to know why?
Why?
And I think I might have addressed it there because I looked up to you as a streamer when back in the early days. Your life, you know, it wasn't perfect, but
No.
when I saw you on stream, you seemed so happy, so content, so free. I was in a place where I felt constricted with life. I just felt like my life has to go a certain way. You just felt so free and happy, and it felt like a different life that I could never have.
But deep down, I was suffering, bro. I wasn't truly happy, but even when I was at my lowest points, I still tried my best to bring a vibe to people and make others laugh. I still tried my best. So even though I seemed happy back then, I was so depressed and miserable. I just tried my best to bring good vibes. I knew deep down that one day maybe I'd have the life I have right now.
Yeah.
So I just kept fighting.
Yeah, and it was not to say like, I saw your life as perfection, but I definitely did see the
Yeah. No,
beauty of where you were in life, where it was something
no.
that it was you. It was
Yeah.
your streaming. You're doing something with your life. That's all you. You're not working for anybody. You're enjoying
No.
yourself, and it seemed like a very risky pursuit in my eyes that paid off, and it was really inspiring to see.
Definitely. And even though I was, going through a lot back then, I was still fortunate and so lucky compared to many people on the planet. I've got to remember that. I still had the old school RuneScape, supporting me and putting food on my plate, and I've always got to think about that. Even though it was bad back then mentally, I was still fortunate compared to most people on Earth.
Yeah.
Got to be thankful.
So I will just say this was a very pleasant experience coming back and talking a year later, and just it felt more comfortable this time around, where we've already talked one-on-one. This is the second time we've talked in voice.
And it was definitely a very different vibe this time compared to last time, which I knew it would be.
Yeah.
I knew it would be. I think it's been a great podcast, baby.
Well, doesn't have to be the last time. Maybe in a year from now we'll get you back on and talk about some more adventures of yours.
Who knows what will happen in a year's time, baby? Maybe I'll have a girlfriend or two.
Or three.
We'll see, man. Or three.
Guys, if you have enjoyed this podcast, drop it a like down below if you're on YouTube. And go follow Rig on his Twitch stream. It'll be linked in the description. Go follow his Twitter as well. Rig, is there anything else you'd like linked down below?
Oh, just my Twitter and Twitch. That'd be wonderful. And my Snapchat. That would be great because I'm active on Snapchat.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll get that. Get that down there.
Wonderful.
Well.
Thank you so much.
Guys, go follow him on all three of those down in the description. And next week we're going to be talking to Randalicious, which I haven't heard from him. I mean, besides just in our Discord messages in over a year now. So it's going to be interesting to talk about a person that does have his life together and has completed 200 mil all. And I want to kind of talk about his life.
That's going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah.
I love Randy. Me and Randy have deep history.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's definitely one of those like iconic old school names you hear.
Yeah.
Randalicious.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very excited for that. Anyway. Go for it.
Before we end, I just want to say to everybody, thank you so much for listening to my story. I tried to explain it as best as I could, even though I struggle with certain subjects and certain times. But I just want to say, guys, thank you for watching me, the people that watch me. And I don't know, I just love the community so much, and I'd love to be a part of it for years to come. I also want to say, for the people that are struggling with mental health like I have been for so long and finally have defeated it for now, stay strong, because you never know what's around the corner. You never know. Stay hopeful. Stay strong.
Beautiful. Rig, thank you once again for coming on. Guys, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Cheers.